Hey everyone, good evening, good Sunday to you all. Hey Brian, how's it doing?
Pretty good.
Figured you might forget again. Good man, thank you for being here and hanging out with me tonight. I know you're a longtime fan of his work as I
Oh
am.
yeah.
So yeah, so that was nice. I just wanted to have somebody in the studio just to hang out with. Of course, we're the structure of tonight's show, unlike most show and tells that I've ever done, or every show and tell that I've ever done, where we just show typically 20 pieces, sometimes a little bit more. Everybody, welcome, by the way, everybody else watching live, and to those of you watching on Rewind. Tonight we will be viewing a sampling of art from throughout the entirety of Butch Guice's career, even starting from his pre-pro time. And it's going to be a total of 200 images. So the equivalent of 10 show and tell episodes in terms of how much art we're showing tonight. And unfortunately, because of that, a couple of things I want you all to know. Clearly, that means that since I don't want this to go 12 hours, that means that tonight, the only way I could accomplish showing this much artwork and doing justice to Butch's career, it means that tonight, unlike every other Sunday night, I will not be able to be in the chat with you guys, you live viewers. So forgive me for that. I apologize. But I would say that because of that, and because we also will have to go pretty quickly, just do the math, guys. So you all know, Brian was gracious enough to want to be here with me tonight, but he does have a 3-hour time limit, and then he's going to have to depart. So, and I know you guys are laughing already, but I am going to try to do this within a 3-hour time limit. Should we approach that time limit and I can see that I'm definitely nowhere near finishing, of course, we're not going to just shut the show down. Brian will leave us when he needs to, and I'll finish it out. I'll close it out on my own for sure. But just be aware that I will try to keep a quick pace. And if you do the math, within 3 hours, even if you included 3.5 hours, or even 4, do the math and you'll see it doesn't allow for much time per image. All right, so we'll be going pretty quick, but because of that, keep that in mind, guys, because when you're commenting for tonight, at least, it would benefit all of us if you didn't, remember that I won't be in the chat. Maybe at the end I'll come in, but throughout the show I won't be, and because of that, it makes no sense for you guys to, fool around with like we usually do. So don't send any comments or questions directed at me. And just try to keep your comments, talk amongst yourselves happily, of course. Otherwise, keep the comments if you can to comments about the artwork we're going to see, or any stories or reminiscences of your own that you may have about Butch or Butch's career. And yeah, that'll be best. This, unlike every other show I've ever done on a Sunday night, it's the opposite. You guys know my shows are geared for the live experience. Unfortunately, tonight, because of what I'm trying to do here, this type of a show is geared more towards the rewind experience. It's definitely going to be better for people to see on rewind because, of course, I assume that a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're going too fast," with the images. Hold on, I want to see that a little longer. Which is why on rewind it's best. You can catch it at your own pace and pause it on whatever images you want and look at them for as long as you want. And yeah, that's about it. For those of you who don't know, Jackson Butch, his nickname. I know some of you for the longest time have wondered, is that 2 people? And I can tell you assuredly, 100%, Butch's name, his given birth name is Jackson. Butch was a nickname given to him early on in his life. His dad was Butch. He wasn't known as Butch. Sorry, I apologize. His dad was Jackson Guice Sr. So Something else that a lot of people don't know is that Butch was a junior. So yeah, so
Bob Layton is the one who convinced him to start using Butch professionally.
Okay.
In fact, on Comic Art Fans earlier in the week, Bob was relaying this story, and he told him to do that. The problem was, then people thought that there were two brothers in the industry, Jackson Guice and Butch Guice.
Right.
And unfortunately, Bob's wanting him to change name basically gave a lot of confusion. So then Butch just went back to Jackson. But early on in his career, people thought there were two brothers working in the industry.
Okay, and I love that you said that, Brian, because that's a perfect segue, everybody. And I can't get into this because we got to get right into the artwork. But I just got to say, speaking of brothers and confusion, the truth is that one of Butch's brothers, Brian, for a very short time, did do some penciling in the industry. I don't know how much, but I can tell you off the top of my head, for those of you who may remember in the 1980s, I'm going to say somewhere between 86 and 89, there was a comic book called The Adventurers. Covers were done by Peter Sue. They were like airbrushed painted covers. Some of the interior art was by Peter Sue, and some of it was by Kent Burles. And there was 4 issues in which Brian Guice, Butch's brother, did pencils on a backup story, which Butch inked. So it was brother inking his other brother. So yeah, so there was brothers, but for a very short time. There you go. To add maybe to the more of the confusion. But in all seriousness, my heart goes out to you, the Guice family, to his wife Julie, his daughter Elizabeth, his mom Diane. Who else? I don't want to forget anybody. Of course, his brothers Brian and Jeff. And sadly, Butch was preceded in death by his sister Kimberly, and his dad Jackson Sr. actually just a few months ago. I believe it was
about a month before he passed away.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it was. I think it was in February.
I'm thinking late January, something around there.
It was in February.
But yeah. So so to the Guice family, and his longtime friends, my heart goes out to all of you. And if by any chance you ever find yourselves viewing this, I can only say that as a career-long fan of Butch's, it's an honor to be able to do this. My little part to honor Butch this way tonight, and I hope I do a good enough job that you guys appreciate it, as I hope that Butch would have appreciated it, even though I know he would have been super embarrassed about this. But yeah, so that's it. Brian, any final words before we get into the art?
Start up the presentation.
Okay. All right, everybody. So no slides tonight. Obviously, this was going to be all along a sharing of the screen situation. And the nice thing is it'll allow me to zoom in and out on certain pieces. And again, forgive me if I don't stay long enough for your tastes on certain pieces, but that's what Rewind is for. All right. And yeah, let's get into this. Let's check this out. Let me share the screen here. All right. So before he went pro, everybody, get this. This is how talented Butch was. He, in a couple of years span from 1977 to 79, he did 5 different covers for the CBG, back then known as the Buyer's Guide to Comics Fandom, but most of us remember it as the CBG. This particular one, 1977. Butch was 16 years old. So if you look at this, and of course, let me zoom in here. He's, for those of you who have a sharp eye, you'll obviously notice that he's not quite at pro level yet here, but for 16 years old, this is when you look at this and you're like, wow, this guy's going places.
He's really come a long way with his anatomy on this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the muscles are usually the hardest thing to do, but at 16, he's still got some to learn. But at this point, he's really good with his anatomy for his age.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go with I got all 5 of them for you guys tonight. Here's the next one he did. The last 4 he did when he was 18. And yeah, that's here. Let me show this. Like some kind of what's this character's name again? He was in that Marvel Premiere series, I believe.
I can't remember.
I forget the one on the bottom, but anyways, science fiction. But look at this, like already in 2 years, what an improvement with the anatomy.
Yeah.
It's just wow. So here he's 18 years old. Then we go to this. He does a Swamp Thing piece. Here, check this out.
And his inking is improving as well.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. We do this one. Tries out a Western piece. And it's not a bad horse for what probably might have been his first attempt at a horse. I can't say that.
Horses are one of the hardest things for artists to draw. At least that's what a lot of artists have told me.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yeah. And as a one-time wannabe artist who tried, I can tell you that it's absolutely true. So
we all tried it at one point.
And I believe we have here his final cover for the CBG. And that's Star-Lord, also from 1979. And I believe, let me see. Do I have? Yes. So that's the published cover, everybody. But check this out. Here we have the original that somebody posted recently. So check that out.
And his forced perspective is doing well.
Absolutely, yeah.
I gotta admit, for his age, that's a pretty good figure.
Yeah, I mean, wow, 18 years old, So yeah, amazing. Really amazing. But that first one, 16, you know what I mean? Like, wow. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys, I want to show you a handful of examples of some pieces he also did pre-pro. And we'll start with this one. And he started penciling, inking, and lettering his own samples, to try to get work from the publishers. So I got a handful of these that I think a lot of you will be pretty impressed. Unfortunately, these were not dated, so I can't tell you in what years he did these. These could have been also the late 70s. Some of them might be the early 80s. It's hard to say, but it's within that time frame of the late 70s to early 80s for sure. But yeah, check that out. I mean, again, sure, he's not, we're not looking at storytelling as of yet, but you will in a moment. But judging from this, you're just thinking, wow, if this guy can tell a story, he's going to be able to go pro like really soon, And speaking of that, here we start having a little bit of storytelling on the Doctor Strange page where he did everything. Check it out. Right, even the lettering got a little bit better. Check that out. There we go. I think at this point, his anatomy's gotten a lot better, but his inking is troublesome, and that's what like a lot of wannabe artists trying to break in at that time. He just figured, I'll show you everything by doing it all, not realizing that the editors are going to want to see the pencils without the inks, But this is still like, wow, amazing. Check this out. This next one. Here we go. So this is from a Daredevil story. There we go. I'm assuming this is Foggy. I didn't read it, but I'm assuming it's Foggy Nelson. Check this out. He's already moving the camera around properly and like really well at nice angles, you know, varying the ins and the outs, making it really, really nice, man. I mean, it's like you look at this and you're like, gee whiz. Again, at this point, I'm thinking the inking still needs work, but like, wow, he's so close to being able to get a script and you know, start penciling a story. Check it out here. This is from the same, I'm assuming, you know, tryout sample. Daredevil in costume, 3-4 panel page. There we go. Check that out. Going with the Neil Adams-esque second panel here. Really neat. Check this out. Obviously having, you know, still working on the anatomy, you know, the structure of the head here needing work. But wow, look at this. I mean, great POV here on this last panel, you know. Really, really nice. Really nice. Check this out, guys. Again, still working on the facial anatomy. That still needs work. But I mean, other than that, look at this. A bit of trouble with the angle. This is the toughest angle from which to draw the foreshortening on characters, you know. But so Iron Man here is a bit troublesome. But look at the rest of this. It's so amazing. I mean, the vision. I think he might have been looking at the Barry Smith Avengers 100 issue at the time, because that's what this reminds me a lot about. You know, check this out. He's got the classic latent gleam on the metal of Iron Man. That's really, really cool. And then you got what's this guy's name again?
Oh, tip of my tongue.
This is the villain that can copy the. I believe he can copy the powers of other characters. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. I mean, it's just really, really amazing stuff for somebody just wow, probably still in his teens at this point. Yeah, so really, really amazing. So from there. I don't know how many people know, but Butch then decided to go the self-publishing route. I guess he really wanted to get into becoming a published artist. So his first, his first full work, I believe he did some work in like maybe like a pinup or two in some other comic book. But this is the first time he did cover and interiors, and it's called The Crusaders. Here we go. There we go. Check this out. So this is obviously not the artwork. This is the comic book, a copy of the comic book. But for those of you not familiar with this is the first issue. But you may be more familiar with the second issue's title, because they changed it to The Southern Knights. And look already from issue 1 to issue 2, just the anatomy alone is just leaps and bounds. The figure work, it's by leaps and bounds. Check this out. Look at the faces, right? Look at the faces here, right? Head structure compared to this. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. Check it out. And Danny, if you're watching, I don't know if you're watching now, but you're probably watching on Rewind. This one's for you. Danny, for those of you who know, who don't know, is a fellow collector and a big Southern Knights fan and art collector. Yeah, really cool. So from here we go and show you a ROM page. Yeah, and yes, everybody, no need to ask. You will see. On occasion, I will show some of the images via their printed versions, because there's something about the page that I wanted to show, and the original art was not available. So this is how Butch broke into Marvel. So he ghosted this. He did not get credit for this. This is ROM Annual #1, and he ghosted on behalf of Pat Broderick, and he did several pages in this. The annual is made up of several chapters, and so he did the equivalent of about a chapter's worth of pages. And I wanted to show this one because the biggest giveaway was that right here in the second panel.
Yeah.
For those of you very familiar with Butch's style, I mean, you could already see it there, which is really, really interesting. And that's why I wanted to show this one. But look at the ROM images. I mean, the sheriff's figures. I mean, this is his first Marvel, comic, and it's so good already. So good. And then from there, I show you this because by virtue of the strength of the pages that he had done in that ROM annual, that's how he ended up getting the job to do the Micronauts. And so I know that there's Micronauts art on Comic Art Fans. There's plenty. Unfortunately, a lot of the images, you guys know, I have a standard for the quality of images that I want to show on my channel. And a lot of the images, unfortunately, are just not up to the standards that I want to show. So a lot of the art that I'm showing was picked based on the quality of the either scan or photos.
I think for opening title splash, I think this is a really great example of his composition.
Oh, absolutely. Now, granted, Brian, I'm sure you'll agree with me. They had a veteran like Danny Bulanati doing the inking on him, but that, and Bulanati, of course, has that very distinctive School of Rudy Nebres style Filipino look, right? So obviously he was going to bury whatever stylistic tendencies that Butch may have had early on. But I also understand the choice. It was more of a, listen, we got the youngster coming in. Let's pair him up with a veteran, who knows how to handle the pencils and can make sure that, he keeps the schedule and does a solid job.
I always thought it was a good combination. I love Butch inking himself, but I always loved Danny when he'd ink other people.
Yeah, and I'm a Danny fan too. But as I say, I he's got his own very distinctive style. So I would rather see, of course, whenever possible, if he's inking, I'd rather him ink somebody who doesn't really have a very distinctive style, like a more of a Pollard or Kupperberg.
But I love the combination of these guys on the run, so it worked for the series.
Yeah, it was very nice work, regardless. Absolutely, look at this. I mean, super nice.
That's one thing I don't have from my collection is a Guice Micronauts. Everybody likes the Micronauts, and it's just hard to get a great example. Oh, yeah, that's a great pinup.
Yeah, this I wish I would see the. I wish I could have found the original to this, but I thought it's such a memorable pinup to me, and I was like, oh, I want to show it, so I don't care if I have to show it.
No, that's a really nice one by Butch.
This is amazing, and boy, you can imagine, how many guys would fight over this tooth and nail with their dollars if this came up for sale.
This is all Guice as well. In this one,
it's what? Sorry, Brian.
It's all Guice.
Yeah, exactly. Pencils and inks, exactly. Yeah, beautiful. Look at that. Wow. So nice, man. And wanted to show this again just because it's so fun. Bill Mantlo was leaving the title. And so on the back cover, Butch drew this, penciled and inked this as a really nice, fun farewell to boisterous Bill Mantlo. And having
who he would work on again on sort of the swashbucklers.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Thank you for that. Yeah, exactly, Brian. And that's Butch, by the way, everybody. That's Butch with the the what do you call it? The hobo stick in the background. And that's Bill Mantlo right there in the front, getting weepy and teary-eyed. Yeah, so that'd be another great piece to see. So many.
I'd like to see the original of that.
Yeah, look, everybody here. Let's see a little bit better for all of you. But how fun is that? I mean, the creators, with the characters together. What a great fun piece that would be to be able to get in its original form. All right. From there, Butch did a 5-piece portfolio in Marvel Fanfare #9 that I know a lot of you guys that, a lot of us are in the same age range. Those of you who were around at the time will remember Marvel Fanfare always, quite often, did these back of the issue portfolios for various artists. And that was what a lot of the fun was about Marvel Fanfare, at least for me. And it was one of the earlier times where we get to see Butch penciling and inking, and we get to see the formation, the beginnings of his first initial crisp style that people first became familiar with, And he did 5 of these, and this Wolverine one. I mean, look how beautiful the original art is here. Wow, 1983, everyone. Check it out. It looks like it's in beautiful condition too. The page is aged nicely, very evenly. The ink, it's in fantastic condition, even though it appears he used marker to fill in the larger black areas. Thankfully, it was quality ink, and it's not ink that has faded.
And then also using the Zipatone and little whiteouts, in the background to let that the figure pop.
Yep, here in the bottom left and top right corners. Yeah, really, really cool. And I got a couple of examples from his portfolio. He did 5 pieces, everyone, and here's the next one. That's the Gorgon from the Inhumans. And those of you who may not ever have thought about this, but maybe perhaps fans of the work of Michael Golden, you might look at this and realize that this early style of Butch's was very Michael Golden influenced.
Wow.
And here we go. Look at that. So nice, man. Oh, so good. So good. Look at this. Just beautiful, crisp work. And the other thing was that the way he rendered at this time, what I loved about it is that it also reminded me of how Bob Layton rendered. And that's amazing because that made it all the better of why they ultimately paired up and worked together for a time. And I thought their combination was just outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. After doing the Marvel Fanfare portfolio, he got this one-off issue of Marvel. What If? What if? What was it again? What if Doctor Strange had never become Master of the Mystic Arts? And once again, he's doing a bit of a riff on Michael Golden here. And those of you who remember this story very well will remember that the cover to this issue was actually by Michael Golden. So not a coincidence. There we go. Check that out. And that's a cool half face. So you usually see that with Spider-Man, but it's cool because it's Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo. So that's really neat. And this issue, Butch did on certain pages, he inked himself. And on other pages, interestingly, as you see there, Sam Granger did some work. And for those of you not familiar, or you're familiar with the name but can't place it, he's best known for having been Dave Cockrum's inker on his first run of first Claremont's X-Men. So, yeah. Very, very nice. It's great stuff. Okay. So then you guys know he also ended up doing several one-off illustrations for characters from the Marvel Universe. This is from the first series because we're still in 1983 here, everybody. And as you can see here, he signed his best wishes always, Butch Guice, 1983. And not a very large scan, so it gets too blurry. I can't expand it too much. But yeah, there you go. The High Evolutionary. That's a nice one. He was given, unfortunately for us fans, a lot of the pieces that he was given to do in the Marvel Universe were kind of like secondary. And I would even say that. I would say a lot of them were like tertiary type characters. So this is one of the...
Yeah, in the first handbook to the Marvel Universe, but he also worked on the later one, and he did characters that he had then drawn already, like from X Factor.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. But yeah, so he did a few of these, and then on the strength of his first run on at Marvel Comics with Micronauts, he was given this job: X-Men and the Micronauts. So that made sense. Again, I don't want to open this
Yeah,
up.
that one. I love that one. I remember picking that one up off the newsstands.
Off the stand, yeah. Yeah, really, really cool. I love this because, it's funny, Brian, a lot of collectors, a lot of art collectors, they hate pages like this that have, they're like, wow, look at all that white out in the first panel. Too much. A lot of guys, they consider that a defect. It's not a defect, right? It's just part of the production process of creating comic book art, and so whatever he had drawn, they realized, okay, we gotta, we'll cover up.
Or they could have been the editor gone back. Oh no, we don't want to do that. And
no, exactly. It's very possible that what they did is likely that they wanted to do a color hold, and so that typically it works best if you do the special effect on a sheet of vellum that you then overlay.
Well, not always. If you do it in like a red pencil, they can pull that out.
Yes.
On a few pages too, where either doing the blue or red pencil, so they can separate it from the blacks.
Yeah, typically it would have been like a red marker, which happened a lot. I remember on Tom Grummett's run on New Titans, a lot of the special effects for one of the characters that they introduced later in the run, it had to be done that way. Yeah. So on a lot of my original pages from New Titans, you get the outline in red marker. So
I've seen some of about this time was Omega Men. They'd end up doing some ones where it's like something for being displayed on a screen. Now that is I think one of the best pages from the series.
So cool, right?
I especially love the Zipatone, and it has it where the face really pops out there.
Yeah.
Another series I'd love an example by Butch, but it's very popular and few of them show up on the market.
Yeah, that's right. Tough to get, and as always, anything related to Micronauts, boy, there's a few hardcore collectors out there that go hard after them, but very, very nice. Here's another one. Found one that was Wolverine centric. I know all of you guys, most of you love Wolverine, so I had to get one of these in there to show you. Yeah. So
Butch, got a really good take on the X-Men for this series. Got costumes and everything.
I thought so. It was great. Yeah, I mean, at the time, especially, I thought, wow, this is great. And I don't know how popular it was in terms of sales, but I remember at the time everybody was buying X-Men. That was really popular. So I would imagine that.
No, it was really popular. Tiny. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Oh, hey, we got 2 series that are popular. Let's put them together.
Yeah.
The salespeople. That's what they wanted, and it was.
Yeah. So great. Every now and then, everybody, like most artists in this same situation, breaking in, He'd be doing a regular series, then he'd break off and do a special project, like a mini series like this. But also, either at the same time or in between, he would occasionally get like a one-off gig, like a cover, for instance, and or a fill-in issue here and there. And he ended up doing, speaking of fill-in issues, not many people, even fans of his, remember that he did an issue of Kull the Conqueror, which is pretty wild. So, yeah, that's really, really neat. No Kull on this page, everyone, but beautiful stuff. I mean, wow, again, especially for being so early on in his career, you know.
I would have liked to have seen how he handled Conan.
Yeah, me too. And though I will say, we will actually see it. I don't know if you will, because it'll depend if we can get to the end of the show while you're still with us, Brian. We will see at least one example, technically, of King Conan, because I will be ending the 200-piece show and tell with a bunch of commissions that he has done over the last 2 years, and one of them was a brilliant Conan. So hopefully we'll get there before you got to get out of here. All right. So where does he go after this issue of Kull? Oh yeah, Brian. Did you remember seeing this? Did you remember seeing this?
Oh yeah. Now, well, I was getting. I mean, this is right at. Was it? Is it one or two issues before the? Wait, no, they got into the 140s, but yeah, and this was after the Defenders had changed members a few times and kind of brought in X-Men and New Mutants, and so yeah, this is a great cover.
Wow, just I love how crisp he would do all this rendering here, and oh my god. So nice. Yeah, this is like, where it's like, wow, this guy, he should become a superstar. I mean, this style, I remember seeing this, thinking, wow, they should put him on X-Men regularly as the regular X-Men artist, or New Mutants, Yeah, it's just phenomenal. Beautiful cover. Wow. Great stuff. And then my favorite and yours.
Oh yeah, Indiana. Yeah, I did the Indiana Jones one.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the covers to the miniseries 3-issue adaptation of the movie. Check it out.
I'll tell you something. Butch. Well, I'll tell you something. Butch always did a great job drawing Harrison Ford.
He did. I got it. I'll give it up to him. He did a great job with the likeness.
Yeah. Well, you'll probably have examples later, but Blade Runner. The likenesses were fantastic.
Yeah, really nice.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm getting them confused. Another artist. I'm getting too old.
Oh, who are you thinking of?
No, I got mixed up with Al Williams because I looked at Harrison Ford and I just was thinking that, but no, yeah, he just did the Temple Doom, but he does really good likenesses. I've seen him do it for other things, and that's the other thing. He's really good. Compared to some artists that might be a little more cartoony, he's very realistic.
Yeah. I gotta say, this one surprised me though. You notice that on this, he's not using likenesses, and you would figure the movie people would be wanting that to happen.
But the other thing it's hard to say is also with these coming out with the related to the movies, it also could have been something that was also rushed as well, and he may not have gotten the references. Because remember, back then there was no internet to pull up all the images. And
of course. Yeah.
And it could have been, hey, this has got to come out right when the movie, and he may not have had the references for it.
You're right. You're right. That it could have been as simple as that for sure. So yeah, so we go from here, and I believe he does another movie. Ah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look at this beauty. Yeah, a lot of you people might remember The Last Starfighter, another 3-issue limited series movie adaptation. Look at this.
And that's a
Very
cool,
nice.
that's a pretty good likeness of the actor. Not spot on, but
No, no.
definitely you know who it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, the movie people were obviously happy enough with it,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. Yeah, yeah. So there we go. Jackson Guice, 1984. Yeah, check that out. So very, very nice and a wonderful scan. So thank you to the owner. I appreciate it. Very lovely. All right. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the next thing he does here is a series near and dear to your heart, Brian. Nope, not yet. Not yet. Another kick-ass one-off cover. I am right, but I believe he. Well, I think technically he did this the same year, but he probably did this cover, in between issues of the series that I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so ROM 55, everybody. Sorry, not a great scan quality, so I can't really go bigger
Well,
than this.
I know Butch was known where if he's in the office and they need somebody to do a cover or something else really quick, he was the guy to go to.
Sure.
He's had to do some last minute things or fill in ones a number of times.
Yeah. I mean, that used to happen to a lot of guys who would hang around the offices as well, right?
Yeah,
if
but then he was one that could really, he was quick.
yeah,
So if they needed some, not everybody, well, artists back then, I mean, they were quicker than majority of the one these days, because some of them work on multiple titles. But Butch was known to really be able to turn stuff around if there was a short period.
okay. And so I was right. The next series that he went on to do was, well, first he started off with a graphic novel. And here we see one page from that
Oh yeah,
graphic novel.
yep.
Swords of the Swashbucklers. This is the one I meant that Brian, you are this is very near and dear to your heart.
Well, this is, and I own this page,
Yes, yes.
and it's a great. I mean, it's a great example, and I love the character, with having like the kind of, I don't know, horns or whatever you want. Kind of, she stood out, and the supporting characters. I love the character designs that he did for them. Very unique and a lot of fun. And yeah, I
Yeah.
I I think this is one of Butch's best pieces he's ever done. And I mean, I don't know with the what images you've pulled up, but in 2019, because the writer Bill was sick, they ended up republishing the graphic novel and the series together, and then it got so popular with Kickstarter that I believe Dynamite did a 5-issue limited series, and he
Right.
ended up revisiting that particular cover. Was about was it 29 or 24 years later? It was interesting that he basically took that cover and revisited it, and did it in his later style.
Yeah, no, that was cool for sure. And by the way, Brian, since you're here with us, tell us, did you really enjoy the writing of it? Was it like what would you say you would rate
I
the
well,
story?
if you look at my gallery and that, I'm a big swashbuckler fan from
Yeah,
Errol Flynn films. I mean, I love the Errol Flynn films, and you get pirates in that, and as what's 80 was it 16 or 16-year-old? I just loved the pirate part. So yeah, some of it wasn't as strong, but I did it for the pirates, and I just, it was a swashbuckling tale. I like the graphic novel better, but it was more of a self-contained story.
Yeah.
But I also, and then after Butch left, I continued on, and I still enjoyed the series with Jeffrey. Is it Isherwood?
Isherwood. Isherwood.
Isherwood.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's, I, yeah, it's,
You're a big fan.
and it's just one of those ones that has really strong nostalgia for me.
Right. Right. Perfect. Well, I'll tell you one that has a lot of nostalgia for me is this next piece where, again, speaking about fill-in issues, I've long said this is my favorite fill-in issue of all time. And I think a lot of people remember this. Thor number 356 in the middle of the Simonson run.
Yeah.
Where Butch and Leighton, there's that name again, they paired up together. And yeah, it was just a fun story. These guys go at it, battling it out. Those of you who
Wait, which issue was this?
Thor 356.
So do you know the cover?
Yes, that's a classic. I love that cover.
Right. But that's probably one of the early of his major publishing where he inked somebody else. He inked Bob Leighton on that cover.
That's right.
And so, and along, in that, 85, maybe 2-3 years, he ended up inking over a number of other artists, which he didn't really do later in his career.
That's right. That's right.
Himself.
That's right. And because of that, I wanted to focus on his penciling. However, with that being said, I want you all to know that there are a few examples, at least two that I can remember offhand, that I am going to show tonight that are examples of his inking, just because I thought it just looks great. So we will see at least a little bit of that. But yeah, here's another page from that Thor 356 issue, a battle royal between usual friends, Hercules and Thor. And our buddy Rickster just picked this up recently and posted this. So congrats, Rick. Awesome stuff. Yeah, very nice. Now, after this, here's what we were, speaking of inking other pencilers. So perfect segue. Right around this time, Butch was assigned, and I wish I knew why. I wish I could have spoken to him and asked him why. Never got the opportunity, but he then was assigned to be the inker on this title, The Dazzler, over the pencils of then unknown youngster Paul Chadwick, who later would be going on to fame and fortune with Concrete at Dark Horse Comics.
And I bet it was just they needed somebody, and he was probably in the office and said, "Do you want ink?"
Well,
and
I don't be
surprised.
I don't think so, Brian, because it's not a one-off. He actually was doing the inks for several issues in a row.
Well, no, I'm not talking about just a one-off. I'm just saying is that they probably just, he was in the office and they were probably looking for an inker for this new guy. And, even though he's only been in the industry for a few years, he'd done some, high-profile stuff. So they decided to have him ink it. And I think he did a great job.
Oh, it's beautiful. So I can say this is, I believe, issue 37. I started collecting Dazzler. Well, it's a double-pronged reason. It was, yes, because I was caught, the cover caught my attention with the Colossus and Wolverine on it. And I was already a Dazzler fan from her guest appearances in X-Men anyways. Not enough of a fan to buy her comic because I just never found that it looked interesting enough. But with this issue, with Wolverine and Colossus guest appearing and seeing the nice inking that Guice was putting in, I said, oh, yeah, cool. I bought the issue, but then I continued collecting it, So yeah, just goes to show sometimes, when you have an artist you like, even when they're just doing the inking, it's sometimes enough to get you to keep buying a title,
It's not 37. He started with 38.
You sure?
I'm
38?
sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
What's the three numbers up there? That's kind of confusing.
Yeah, you're right. That's what it says. I have it saved. The file is Dazzler 38, page 17. Yeah. So yeah, I apologize for the mistake. Everybody, 38, Dazzler 38, correct. Yeah, so that was fun. Now, from that era, after he did his several issue stint inking run on Dazzler, he chipped in, and this was cool. And I know that Brian, that's another reason why I'm happy to have you here with us, Brian. The next thing he did here was, check this out. You're very familiar, and I know you can tell us a little bit about this. Fantastic Four 286, when they brought back Jean Grey from the dead.
Yeah, so Guice had a very interesting relationship with this whole thing, where he happened to be in the office. John had already drawn the whole issue, and then Shooter decided to screw with him and had Claremont rewrite just the 4-page flashback, and they wanted somebody else to draw it, and Butch was in the office, and then they asked him, and he said, sure, and then he ended up saying, do you want me to ape Terry and Byrne? And they said, okay. And when Byrne found out that this was done behind his back, he took his name off the book, so it says, you know who. And Butch never got credit. And to this day, there's so many people that think the flashback was drawn by Terry and John.
Yeah.
When it was done by Butch himself.
That's right. Yeah, he did a good job. It does look like that era's version of Byrne pencils with Austin's inks at that time.
Well, plus, I've seen the pages that were unpublished that, Byrne and Austin did, and he inked it the way they did. They didn't show heavy shadows because they wanted to give the impression this is what she's experiencing in her mind. So these pages look different anyways. But the thing is that this got changed. And I don't know, is your next one going to be X Factor or?
It is.
Okay, so to go into this part was changed where John wrote Phoenix as being more evil. Claremont made it more of a force of good. So when they got to X Factor, Bob Layton and Butch had already basically drawn the issue. And then they asked him to redraw. I've seen scans of the original story, and it's really, I mean, a lot of it's the same. A couple of panels are different, but what he did was, this is a perfect example. On this page, the original page that was drawn, she was more plain Jane. And I think the editor, whether asked Butch to do her more, glamorous, because it doesn't have the poofy hair and doesn't have the outfit like this. It's basically the same scene, different views of it, but she's portrayed a little more plain. But then they were still, after they drawn this, they still had to make changes. So some of the pages are a bit of a mess. And then, of course, the infamous 7 covers that were rejected. And I think Butch penciled 2 of those. And so, it was a whole. Oh, and when they were asked to redraw this, Butch and Layton had a few days to redraw most of the book, and they had to hold up in a hotel near the Marvel offices and there was like this huge thunderstorm going on at that time in New York. And Bob related that it was crazy, but they were able to get the work done. So yeah, the FF 286 and the first issue were just, they were crazy because so many things changed. But this was an example of, you give something to do Butch short period, he meets a challenge.
Yeah. But yeah, fantastic. I love this. And it made me sad because I remember very clearly reading all the prozines at the time. When they were leading up to this X Factor series starting, I very clearly remember them saying, and I don't know, you tell me if you remember this or not, Brian, but I remember them saying that the plan that they were gonna go with was they wanted to have Bob Layton and Butch alternate, where they would switch on and off when one guy would do the pencils and the other guy does the inks one issue, and then the next issue the guy who inked the previous issue would be the penciler, right? And the inker of the penciler of the previous issue would be the inker.
Bob ended up writing these,
right?
And the thing what it is he left after about 5 issues because he kept, I think it was Shooter or something, he kept fighting with him on the stories, and that's why he left after 5 issues. And then Guice held on for like 2 more, and then that was it. And yeah, I mean, this whole book was just, originally they're going to bring back X Factor or X-Men original before they even bring back Jean. And I think it was Scott's wife that was going to be some part of it. And then when Byrne had an idea, or no, was it Buscemic had an idea to bring her back, then they did it, and then they changed everything. But this whole first half dozen issues of X Factor were just really crazy editorially. And then not until the Simonsons took over that it really kind of settled down, unfortunately, because I love the idea, but I think I think Butch kind of got a little rushed as well. So, but I enjoyed the first 6, 7 issues.
I was sad because I really loved the Butch and Layton, artistic combination.
Oh yeah, when they did this and then later on Iron Man, I love their combination.
Oh my God, yeah, exactly. Because I wanted to see it here, but then it ended up like with the second issue, I believe it was already Rubenstein who took over the inking, and that was it.
Yeah, Bob was doing, but yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he was writing, and yeah, the whole thing was a thing. But especially this, I love Butch's composition. I love how he's telling the story, and it's just a lot of fun. And then later on, when they're fighting I guess another Brotherhood of Evil or whatever before Apocalypse comes along. Always loved the fight scenes that Butch did then as well.
Yeah, it's nice, man. Very nice. So after this, I know that a lot of you probably remember that Butch ended up for, I don't know, maybe a year or close to a year going on to this next title, The New Mutants.
Oh, yeah.
See, the only thing about, for me, I was a New Mutants fan too. The only thing that I didn't like was that for the majority of it, the inking was not up to my, like it was okay with Beatty. Like this is an example of that. But the early on, you might remember the first several issues, I believe, were Kyle Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the crazy thing about it, and what was frustrating to me, is that I loved Kyle Baker as an inker when he was first breaking in. I loved those inks. The problem was on certain pencilers, I want to see more of the penciler style, But
yeah, well, different inkers depending on how strong their style is.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, it was fun. It was a fun time for about a year or so, I remember. Right. And here's another really nice page. There we go. Here. This is from
Oh,
47.
during this time period, he ended up doing an issue of Nexus for Steve Rude.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so it was weird. I don't know how it came about, because he'd been getting enough work from Marvel, but he ended up doing an issue for Nexus. So I remember, because I was a big Nexus fan, and I remember, wait, this is Butch doing it. So it might have been just something to help out Steve. I don't know if they were big friends or what.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of unanswered questions we have about the career, of course, right? We can't know everything, unfortunately, but we'll check that out, actually, though, Brian, in the very near future. But before we get to that, this is the first time where we see that he leaves. Well, I wouldn't say leave necessarily, because he was a freelancer, but he goes over and does some work at DC. And I remember this fondly. I followed him throughout his career. So, I mean, mind you, I was already collecting and reading Teen Titans Spotlight anyways as a Teen Titans fan. But I loved it. I thought, oh, how great to see Jackson Guice, go to DC and do some DC characters. So I thought this was fun.
It would have been interesting if he ended up inking this, I think.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear that, Brian.
I think it would have been interesting if he inked these.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But, I mean, I bet you since he wasn't a DC, artist, did a lot of stuff. He came in and said, well, we'll just have one of our inkers, instead of having him paint, pencil and ink it.
Exactly. That being said, I don't think Malstead did a bad job. I think it's all right.
No, he didn't. I said it would have been interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Here's another sample. I got a couple of samples. Yeah, so Hawk and Dove. Hawk, I guess only Hawk, I guess, in this case. But yeah, it's fun. And then he did, back at Marvel, a fill-in issue of X-Men. Sorry for the quality, guys.
I thought he did 2 issues. Wasn't it 16 and 17?
Yeah. He did the one after this as well. Exactly. Yeah.
Because I remember I picked this up and I was thrilled. I was kind of hoping he'd stay on the X-Men.
Yeah.
But, I can't remember who was doing. I can't remember who was doing the X-Men at that time. That might have been when they switched over.
I think it was Silvestri at the time, so they were set with him already.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, because 200 Romita Jr. did, and I can't remember how far into that he did. So,
yeah. But from these 2 issues, here we go. There's the Nexus. Sorry, it's the only image I could find. Everybody can't get too big because it'll get blurry.
I love Butch's faces.
Yeah, so cool though. Like I also at around this time was starting to buy Nexus as well. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool to see Butch doing Nexus of all the characters. Like, it's so wild.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I was getting a lot of the independent ones, and Nexus was one of them.
Yeah, that's really, really neat. So that's what I love about his career too. He did there's such a nice variety,
Yeah.
So that's what was fun. He did, mainly Marvel and DC, of course, but occasional non-Marvel DC stuff to add variety to it. So yeah, it's really cool. Then, of course, after doing the Teen Titans, couple of issues of Teen Titans Spotlight, he got the big gig of doing the very first and only ever issue of Flash #1. Of course, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's because there was never a Flash #1 previous to that in the Silver Age. They took over the numbering from Showcase. So Showcase #4 ended up being the first appearance of the Silver Age Flash. But not many pages from this issue out there for some reason. Couldn't find more. So best I could do here, an issue from page from #1. And this, by the way, I don't know if you're aware, Brian. This issue, Flash #1, post-crisis relaunch of the new Flash, Wally West. This much like the X Factor #1 story. This cover also was redrawn like at least 5 times.
Yeah, and it was probably because of Jim Shooter. Or no, wait, no, sorry, DC.
Oh, no.
I was gonna say, I wonder what that was.
Exactly. That's
like I said, I wasn't.
Yeah. But
I was more of a Marvel guy, and I picked up DC, but I don't remember picking up the start of this series.
Yeah. But I was buying it early on, and I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I was an old school, Barry Allen Flash guy, of course, but whatever. I still love the Flash just as a character, so I was more than happy to, be able to collect the Flash from #1 and start from scratch. It was pretty fun, and that's an early cover. This is #3, everybody. Malthed inking, so it's a nice cover, but obviously not quite as awesome as it would have been had Butch been able to ink it himself. And here we go from our friend Cesar Alvarez. Posted this just a few months ago, and it's from the first annual. There we go. The story Death Touch. So that's kind of a fun splash. And Larry Malthed inking again. Yeah, he did a very serviceable job, I will say. Very nice. And here's another cover, which is fantastic, because this one is one of the ones where I'm pretty sure, what's his name? I've given credit to him, Carl. I believe it's Carl Kiesel who inked this. And boy, at the time, people don't seem to know this, because people relate Carl Kiesel, and they relate him to Tom Grummett. For having been his writer, inker on Superboy and other titles at that time in the 90s. But boy, around the mid to late 80s, Carl, who himself was a pretty fresh new face in the industry, but he was given like Butch Guice here. He was given John Byrne when he was doing Superman. He was given George Perez on, I believe it was History of the DC Universe. Like, he was given so many great artists to ink, and that's really kudos to Carl Kiesel, because you don't typically get new guys put onto the biggest names in the industry to ink them. But yeah, so really, really amazing stuff here. And I always like this cover. Nice, crisp, beautiful inks. If I didn't know better, I would have thought that it looks like a Guice inked cover. I wish I could expand it a little more, but without it getting blurry, but it's the best I can do. But yeah, really cool. And then he did another cover. He'd be doing covers here and there. I remember this coming out. I was collecting Solo Avengers. This is a Solo Avengers #7. And this is a re-team up with Bob Layton inking him. So that's a nice, fun, in-your-face, about to shoot you in the eye cover.
And I've never understood what the December 4th, 1986. I see it on so many originals around that time. I've never figured that one out. I've seen it on some of the covers for the X Factor.
Oh yeah, maybe that's when they were turning it in.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's the same date used on multiple, original, Bristol pieces of Bristol. I mean, everything else, but that date was left in when because they supply them to the artist. It was always weird to see. I've seen that on a bunch of different originals.
Sorry, pal, I can't help you with that one. But from there, I believe this is where Butch gets put onto Iron Man. Yes. Oh God, this was so good. This is again Bob Layton inking.
That's a great. It's a classic cover.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
And
So
you can
good.
tell the face is pure Butch.
Yeah. Just so good. So crisp and shiny. I love the armor. It looks truly they both of them together had a way of making metal look like shiny metal, you know? Yeah, you can feel the texture of the metal. Like, yeah, really, really amazing. So yeah, this is 1987, everybody. Yeah, beautiful and memorable cover. I think I got another couple of examples from their time. Here we go. Yeah. So only breakdowns by Butch here, and then Bob Layton did the finishes. There we go.
Yeah, the face is not. You couldn't mistake it. That's a Butch face right there on the woman, and the figure too. That's. I mean, you could tell that was even his breakdowns. That's Butch.
Very nice. And I think I've got one more. Oh yeah, another classic cover. Oh,
Good.
oh man, yeah. Sorry guys, again, I can't zoom in enough. It's not a
Well,
big enough.
the other thing, if you want, you could just do full screen for the whole thing and not have us in here, and it might make it a little bigger for people.
Yeah, but I've sampled it, and it only slightly makes it a bit bigger. It's not worth doing. But yeah, it's classic though, right? Like, oh my gosh, yeah, this one just, oh my god, so good, man, so good. What a team supreme. This was so great. Again, Leighton on the inks here, everybody. Yeah, classic cover, beautiful. All right, what happens after his Iron Man stint? Ah, yes, right. So this is something that a lot of people wouldn't have known because a lot of people, obviously being a fan of Marvel and or DC, we're not typically fans of UK comics, right?
Yeah, I gotta admit, I've never seen this one. Not familiar with the UK stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. I mean, I wasn't into the UK stuff myself, but I did like to look at the stuff when it came into the store. And yeah, it was shocking to me to see Butch's cover. I was like, what? He's doing UK covers now? Wow, that's wild. Like, especially Judge Dredd. I mean, you don't have to read it to know that, at least in the UK, it's like pretty much the biggest character that ever came out of the United Kingdom, comics wise, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he actually ended up, interestingly enough, doing a few covers.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorites by Butch. It's just so fun.
Sam
Now,
Slade.
if you want a beard, that'd be me.
You wish, Brian.
I never read the series, but when the original popped up, it was like, I can't pass this up. It's just so much fun. And then the fog in the background.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, the lovely wayward Waheens surrounding Sam Slade, who looks like Santa Claus here.
Yeah.
Getting a gift of a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And,
not working enough.
Yeah. But yeah, then he went over and did this killer cover. And I remember buying this off the stands.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely remember this one.
Yeah. Scott Williams inking at the time too, interestingly enough.
In his pre-image style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is also a cover.
I really like the inks over Butch on this.
Yeah, me too.
Nice combination.
Me too. Yeah. It's a cover that if it ever surfaced, it's maybe tucked away in a collection because I don't think I've ever seen the original.
No, I haven't. No, it's in somebody's collection.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Scott Williams himself still has it, or maybe he kept it and he got it. I don't know.
No, hey, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody, I apologize. of course, the quality of this scan too.
So before you get to Doctor Strange,
Yeah,
because this is starting in '89.
yeah, or
Um,
night.
what you missed, and I thought you'd have an example, is Speedball #1.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I
Well, I
know.
mean, he inked,
Yeah,
one
Ditko.
of the biggest
Yeah,
Spider-Man. He inked Ditko on Speedball,
I
which,
know, I know.
which was, I mean, it was an interesting combination, but also probably, you know,
No, I
probably one of the
listen.
biggest artists he ever inked.
Yeah, listen, I loved it. I bought it. I did buy it. I was a fan. I loved it. I love Ditko. I love how Butch's art looked over Ditko with the finishes. You could still clearly tell that the figure work was all Ditko because it's so unique, right? It's so uniquely his.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the rendering was so uniquely Butch's. So I loved it. I loved it. But as I told you off camera before the show started, it's just even with 200 pieces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I
There's,
mean,
yeah.
you got Dick, and I said the other one I know I mentioned earlier is, and if people haven't seen it, go and track down his Red Sonja portfolio.
Oh
Those
yeah.
pieces are some of his best from that period. He pencil and inked it, and it's just amazing. A lot of people may not know, but it was done in 1988.
Yeah. This particular cover, when he first started on the title, this is where to me he hit a peak with
Oh yeah,
his
a good
comic
cover.
book. Yeah, with his comic booky still style before he went more towards illustrated realism,
I
Yeah,
don't know. Well, this has still got the strong realism in there.
no, but I'm you'll see later what I'm talking about, Brian,
Yeah.
when it gets into the very shadow heavy stuff,
Well, yeah,
Um,
but that's more of a change in his inking style, I think, more than his pencils. But
But but this to me was wow. He was peaking with this style at the time, and this is why I've actually got a bunch of examples to show. This is not online anywhere, so I don't know who owns this, but I just got lucky that even though it's not a great scan, I've had this. I saved this scan years ago because once upon a time it was somewhere online, and I'm just lucky enough that I have this. Because I don't know where it is today, but for those of you who might remember it like this, yeah, the cover.
and really, and I love the whoever the colorist was did a fantastic job.
Yeah, me
Really
too. I thought.
was able to get everything to
Yeah,
him and Clea really pop.
I mean, I wish I could show you the original to this, but it's not out there. I've never seen the original to this one, but my God, you can just tell this would be glorious in black and white.
Yeah, I mean all the.
The pointillas and stuff. Oh,
I think some of the pointillism is probably Zipatone.
yeah, it's possible, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm thinking you can get you're able to get Zipatone in like a pointillism one. And
Yeah, I know
some of the shadows, but
but I don't think so, Brian, because check it out. Typically, if it's Zipatone, it's even across the whole sheet. But here, if you look at
it, his spells, those might have been
that
as well.
Yeah,
but yeah,
really cool stuff, man.
It is. It's a.
Yeah. And look at this. I mean, this.
Oh yeah, his interiors for the series was great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have an example from the series. I'm looking for like the perfect one. I got so many pieces that I'd like to get one. I just haven't found the right one yet.
Look at this. Oh, so good, man. Oh, so good.
And then looking at that wall, and that one is really looking how his anatomy has progressed since when he was 18.
Oh yeah.
When we were looking at it, was it 78?
Yeah. Originally,
now, and what's it? Like 10, 11 years later?
Yeah.
And the faces, especially. Really.
Yeah.
Oh, this one I loved.
Yeah, me too. Wow, look at that. Beautiful.
And so this one, I just love his faces.
Yeah. Oh man.
And and his faces tend to be more unique. Some artists, tend to have kind of a generic woman's face. And I think his is more, he distinguishes them. I've seen this original.
Have you?
Yes, I have. It's really so it's so much better in black and white.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
It was nice, but really, the black and white. But it's been a long time since I've seen this.
Yeah, I don't have a scan of this one even in my files, so I never got to see it. If it's around, I don't know who's got it, but yeah, that's got to look beautiful in black and white. Wow. I could just imagine, Now, I will say, after Doctor Strange, very soon thereafter, see, this is for me where, at least with that initial style, where to me that was my favorite. That's where he truly peaked. This next project that I'm going to show, some fans think this is his peak. I think it's slightly, just a half step down from his Doctor Strange stuff. But it's got a lot of fans. I'm a fan too.
And, I used to own this page.
Yeah, X Factor, Prisoner of Love, one shot. Sorry,
yeah, the only thing I have, and I'm a bit of a snob on this, I don't care when they use markers, and so her hair was done in markers, and it's had slowly turned brown. And I used to own this page as well. Both great examples. I wonder, did you put the one in with the whip?
No, because I thought, you know what? Less than a couple of months ago, when we did our show and tell together, we already showed it, so I figured, oh, okay. But
that was the one. For some reason, he put in a whip, and the editor thought it was too S&M and had it taken out and published.
Right.
And this is a really great issue. He's got a panel with Jean Grey and Nathan, her son, as a baby, and it's the face, the expressions on the faces are fantastic. I mean, it's really, I got the page. It's no action. She's feeding the baby, and the baby doesn't want to eat, and the expressions on the baby, and babies are hard to draw because of the proportions of their head. Because they're so much different than an adult, but he really has a grasp on how to draw younger kids, not just adults.
Yeah, for anybody,
this is a nice page.
For anybody curious about the page with the baby that Brian's describing, just go look back. I don't know, less than 2 months worth of episodes ago. So probably maybe, I don't know, 6 or so weeks back, we did a show and tell together, and we showed the 2 pages that he's describing. Actually, we showed them on his show and tell. So,
but yeah, definitely a great example of him being able to draw faces.
Yeah, and fantastic stuff. Love that.
And this one's...
the first 2 pages there are owned by my friend John Stewart, big fan of Butch Guice. So shout out to you, John.
He's my nemesis with some guy. So I believe the pages might have gone from me to him, and I'm glad they're in his.
I do believe that's what happened. I won't swear to it, but I think so.
I thought of keeping them, but the marker thing just turned me off. But I'm glad it got to somebody else. Oh yeah, I remember this cover.
Yeah, every time
86 on it.
Anytime he did a Wolverine or X-Men, I was like, yeah, man, he would be great as a regular artist on these characters,
Oh, man, can you imagine inking all those hairlines?
Well, he inked himself, so he had no problem with it.
No, I know, but just the time to sit there and ink each one, that must have taken a while.
But yeah, this is Marvel Comics Presents number 39, in case you're interested, everybody. Number 39. And then he did this, which was another beautiful series, inked by Scott Williams again. This one, Deathlock. Yeah, I thought this was great. This was my introduction to Deathlock because I wasn't around. I mean, as a brand new comic, I was introduced obviously to Deathlock from the 1970s comics as back issues, but this is the first time that I could buy Deathlock comics off the stands, and for me, I thought, wow.
Did you ever read Wild Cards?
I did not. I know what you're talking about, but
you should check it out. The art's really good.
Yeah,
it's done in kind of like a heavier bound, square bound. Each issue is like 4 of them, but the art's, I mean, it's so different, but it's I recommend checking out if you like his artwork.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take a look. I came across them as I was doing all the prep to, put all these images together. But you didn't know what it was, really hadn't heard of it.
was something different, but yeah, I saw that he was doing it, so I picked up the series and I enjoyed it. It was more for the art, but I thought it was pretty good. It was a different. It wasn't superheroes, so it was he was stretching his style.
There we go. Yeah, unfortunately, not a lot of this art out there, everybody, which is why I can't get a larger quality scan. But yeah, close enough to let you see what his art was looking like back then.
And he also worked on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for about less than a year as well.
You don't say. Yeah, and yeah, well into that run of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., or whatever they called it at the time, maybe just S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, he had done this piece, and I believe it was supposed to be the cover to number 20. And for whatever reason, it didn't get used, and ultimately they still thought it was nice enough. They wanted to use it for something since they paid for it anyways. And they used it as a pinup inside Marvel Superheroes Summer Special number 6.
And you got the red lines in there where they're doing some kind of effect.
Yeah, there you go. The color hold effect. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. That's what they are. Yeah, the red marker. Yeah, red pen. But yeah, nice and crisp. This is like beautiful. Again, peak Butch for this time. Pencils and inks. Really nice. Really nice. Ted Latner owns this, and he just posted it. So thanks to him.
I know Ted.
I was able to show it tonight because he literally just posted it a couple days back. So that's really nice. And then, unfortunately, I wish I had the original, but I wanted to show it anyways because at the time it was just, Moon Knight, Punisher, Spidey. Yeah. They were all so popular, right? So yeah, this was kind of a fun cover to see them all together. It's not fun to see it with the cover. I wish I could see it with the color. I wish I could see it without the color, especially because he penciled and inked himself here. And yeah, the color is not really doing it much of a service to help us here or whatever, but it's a pretty kick-ass cover.
No, definitely.
Now, this I wanted to show, and I got to tell you, Brian, and everybody else who might have been a fan of this run. Me personally, I was not a fan. And, you can't always be a fan of everything an artist does.
Yeah.
And I was not a fan of his covers to Alpha Flight for, one reason or another. This one is really the only one I ever actually really liked.
I like this is different, definitely different from other covers.
Yeah, I love this. Just a great angle, great extreme close-up of Dr. Doom's face. I mean, this might be the closest we've ever seen inside of his mouth. Which is weird because it's like, why is there like a circuitry-filled mouth? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it's beautiful. I just thought it's kind of like holding up the golden goblet with all the Alpha Flight members floating inside. That's really cool, man. I wish I could see this in person in its original art form. 1990, by the way, everybody. But yeah, sadly, I have never seen the original to this one. So, And he then went on and did an annual. If I remember correctly, it might have only been a chapter. I'm not sure if it was a full story or a chapter or something like that. But I thought, I don't know who, I can't remember who inked it. I think it's supposed to be, I believe the credit said it was pure Butch pencils and inks, but it doesn't really look quite like it. But
yeah, even at the time,
no, I love the movement of the female character, whoever that is. I really do like the almost. It reminds me of late 60s Starenko, this crazy, weird, scary character here. I don't know why, but that's kind of what's the effect it's giving off to me. Just thought it was interesting. Yeah, but again, a one-off.
It's listed as pencils and inks, but definitely different.
Yeah, it was weird, right? Yeah, that's what I was remembering. Yeah, pure Guice, but kind of doesn't really look like it, you know?
Yeah. It's the spotted black's a little different than what he's usually doing.
Yeah, the way he rendered it was a bit different. Yeah, interesting. Oh, it makes for an interesting curiosity, you know. And here we go. Here's a cover from the Shield series that we just talked about. And Pencils and Inks by Butch. This is 3 months after the pinup that we showed that was supposedly be the cover for number 20. This is issue number 23. This is, I think he's doing a little bit of a graphic style cover here, riffing on the whole Starenko Nick Fury thing, obviously, you know. Very, very nice. Very well done, obviously. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I love all these targets, you know. All these targets are so nice. Yeah. Really cool. Okay. And here's an interior page for those of you who want to see. Look at his women. I mean,
yeah, I remember trying to go after this.
Yeah.
In eBay years ago, because I love his women.
Oh man, look at that face. Love it. So cool. And I'm assuming that's Valentina, the Contessa.
Yeah, Contessa.
With the hair. Yeah. Really nice. Okay, so then this, I believe, Butch here goes to DC a little bit. I believe this is the first issue, first time he ever drew Superman. So first issue of Superman from any title that he ever did. I apologize, I cannot get bigger than this. Well, I can, but as you can see, it gets blurry. So low res scan, but so yeah, kind of interesting. This is pre-death of Superman. And I wanted to show this because, of course, I like Supergirl. And this is part of his work with Denis Rodier, who was formerly from here in Montreal. And I just like the design on this with the giant, what I assumed was the eyeball. And I'm assuming it's the eyeball in the top panel. And then we go down to the second panel with the eyeball pulling out. Yeah. And then to this third panel where we pull out some more. Really, really nice. But
you had a long run on Action Comics.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to say, I'm guessing here, but I want to say 2 to 2.5, 3 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
I mean, something. About 3 years, I think, on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe with these two examples, he doesn't start. These are like one-offs. He doesn't start doing regular work yet. Let me check. Right. Okay. Because at the same time, he's just kind of doing one-offs. And so he went and did Terminator Endgame with John Beatty inking. And here, check this out, everybody. It's very, I think he's going for like a Gulacy type style, you know?
Yeah, the inking is a lot different.
Yeah.
Well, we were looking at that other one, we weren't sure, but you might have been just trying out different styles.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is the blacks are a lot heavier.
Exactly.
Not as many, lines with a lot. Really no
Yeah,
really lighter shading.
exactly. Exactly. A lot of larger spotted blacks, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see if there's another one off. Oh no. Okay. So here we go. And okay, so this is one of the ones where again, beautiful cover. I love it. Not only is it a classic, open the shirt to reveal the S
Oh yeah.
underneath, right? So that makes it classic right there. But this is actually one of the rare pieces where he inked. Another favorite artist of mine, Kerry Gamble, penciled this.
Yeah.
And Butch inked it. But yeah, the rendering is so Butch-like. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and if you look at this, the rendering's a lot different than the last one you just did.
Exactly.
The other one had no cross hatching whatsoever. Yet this one, it's you got some of the heavy shadows, but you've also got the cross hatching to give more of a lighter tone to it, which the other pages that you just saw just were totally different.
Yeah, I always loved this cover ever since it hit the stands and I picked it up. Ah, man,
Yeah.
just so simple but classic, Beautiful. And I think at this point it's where he begins to become regular artist and he starts doing different covers. And yeah, here's another cover where I don't have it to show you everybody, but you might want to look it up if you want. The Action Comics 703. The editor, I believe Mike Carlin here. Yeah, Mike Carlin wasn't happy with how he had done the positioning of Lois Lane. It's very dramatic, and I love it because of the drama in it. But I can understand it has to be. I can only assume it had to be because of the fact of if you think about just from real life possibilities, it's just not possible for her in high heels to be hunched over almost parallel to the ground with her upper body parallel to the ground. That way.
The center of gravity is off in her. She would have fallen on her butt.
Exactly. So it looks like she's squatting on the toilet or something, So it's different. They replaced the image, and unfortunately, who knows where the redrawn version of Lois is? It's very possible that once they probably statted this cover. Let me see. Yeah, no logo. So in all likelihood, they statted this cover. That's where they pasted on the logos, and that's where they pasted on the new artwork. And ultimately, it probably just got lost or thrown out because they just figured, well, it's just
or it might just be out there as just a stat with just that one, drawing on it. So hard to say.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to get into the whole hair thing. Not a fan of the way too long hair, but yeah, still fun. A fun era. I enjoyed this era for Butch.
And they had him do issue 700 too, which was
right. Yeah, that's correct. And he also did this cover for, I believe it was either Action Zero or Superman Zero. Action Zero, yeah, Action Zero.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
What's around with the numbers?
Yeah. And here we go. Kind of a very Kirby-esque pose. I find here. And for those of you who don't remember, you might want to look through Butch's Action Comics run because throughout it, and I won't swear to it that it was from start to finish, but just from having my memories of having seen a lot of the original art over the years, I remember thinking, wow, I didn't notice at the time, but he was kind of doing a Kirby-esque riff, particularly in how he did the panels, fewer panels per page to make it more bombastic, and very Kirby-esque type poses, but with his own kind of rendering style, which was interesting. But Butch was known to do that when he was inspired by looking at the art of artists who came before him and he liked their work. he had a tendency to then get so into it that on whatever project he next worked on, he would kind of try to emulate that artist's style. So he did a Kirby-esque type thing on when he was working on Superman. Some of you may or may not remember when he got onto Resurrection Man in the late 90s, and again, I won't swear that he did it throughout the entire series because I haven't seen the entire series, but he started doing a Joe Kubert riff on some of that stuff, if not all.
Considering, he aped Burns' style and so many people didn't realize it was Guice, not surprising there.
Yeah.
He's good at, incorporating other artists.
There we go. We're in 1995. For those of you still trying to keep track, 1995, everybody, this is a cover to Showcase 95, issue number 4. And I believe this is pencils and inks by Butch with Catwoman.
Yeah. That's great. I love his hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a cool cover. Yeah. Yeah. There's the signature, Jackson Guice. So yeah, this is pencils and inks on his own. Very nice. There you go. And this one's for you, Jason, Mr. Southern Comic Geek. Butch ultimately ended up doing a little stint doing some work with Valiant. So this is a double-page splash from Eternal Warrior, number 49, page 2 and 3. Unfortunately, in my opinion, for me, I don't remember who the inker was, but it's okay. I'm not saying it's bad, but not as complimentary as I could have gotten it had I had my choice of inker to ink him, But here you go. Still quite nice. I mean, I still recognize it. I still recognize it as Butch's work, so that's ultimately what's important. He didn't exactly bury him necessarily. Now here is where this. Look at the difference, everybody, and it's the same title, Eternal Warrior. All right, so this is what it looked like when somebody else inked him. So get a good look at that. And then this is him inking himself.
And his inks are starting to evolve here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's still like that. He's still in that Doctor Strange, X Factor, Prisoner of Love style, except he's, like you said, he's starting to evolve the inking a little more and work more on the inking and focus more on the inking.
Did you ever read his Aliens Predator?
I did not.
But that was interesting. I mean, horror, not expecting him to do horror as much, but it was something different. I like the Alien Predator series, and his art was a nice contribution.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
This is magnificent. So this is Exo Man-O-War number 67 cover, everybody. Penciled and inked by Butch. Let me do this and I'll scroll up. But yeah, this is a phenomenal.
I mean, basically Bob Layton went to Valiant, he started Valiant, and he invited Butch to come and do some series there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were friends, so
yeah. In fact, when he was on the Comic Art Fans early in the week, he hadn't talked to Butch in a while and didn't even know he had been sick. It really hit him hard. He was, I think, at a Japanese convention.
Okay.
And, he talked for a little while, and it was really interesting having him, But yeah, basically, when he started, and I think Jackson was a great one to help him, kick off the new comic book company. That's a great example.
Outstanding. FYI, for those of you who care about such things, because they always fascinate me, Editorial decided that they needed to get rid of this woman right here in the background. So if you look at the published cover, she's not there. Everything else is the same, but she is not there.
You know what? removing her, I think it probably because she kind of gets lost in the background, and
She definitely gets lost. Yeah.
yeah, and
I don't know.
when it's colored, I bet you could have something where she would pop more, but on the inking, it's kind of there's a woman hiding behind there.
Right. Right. All right. And that's it for that. Then around this time, Butch was tapped with doing. Now, here's where again, I'm not as a fan of the art. I'm a fan of Joe Rubinstein's inks, but he's overpowering, and so Rubinstein inks look like Rubinstein inks. On some pencilers, I love it. He strengthens the pencils, but on certain pencilers where I find the penciler has their own truly distinct style, he overpowers them, and it looks more like Joe's work. So I wasn't thrilled with that choice.
The story, I thought it's always hard to do the two different universes and all that. I used to own a page from it. Nice having him do it, but I think the writing, the story just didn't grab me that much. So
I believe this was a sequel, though, wasn't it? Was this?
Yeah, but still, still trying to combine them and all that. I don't know. I read it, but it wasn't one of those that really stuck with me.
Yeah, yeah. I can tell you that the the art community sure loves to collect these pages, and they pay a pretty penny for all this Marvel DC across.
Yeah, I had one that was just a bunch of like 6 or 9 panels. It was nice because it had the X-Men and a bunch of different ones, but there wasn't a lot going on. But I got rid of. This
is a nice one. This is a nice one, but this is a it's still Rubinstein. But I love this more than the interior. This is a cover, I believe, number 3. Yeah, the cover number 3. Check it out. Check this out. So Batman in shadow outside the window of the famous window of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
It makes me more kind of think of from the Golden Age Batman when he becomes Batman and a bat's gonna fly in the window. It seems kind of like a riff on that. Where Bruce is in there and the bat's gonna come in and it gets. But yeah, the bat's a little bigger in this one. But it's a great example. I love the use of Zipatone with all the smoke. It works out really well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Love this piece. Around the same time, everyone. So it's not before or after. It's more like in between. This is what Brian was mentioning when we talked earlier about Butch getting some gigs doing single character pinups for the Marvel Universe, and the fact that he had worked on some in the first series from '83, and then again in that deluxe edition in '85. And here we go. This is an example. Again, inked by Rubinstein. You can see the heavy Rubinstein influence on the inks here.
But it's also interesting. His comments at the bottom. I guess they're thinking of they changed her costume just subtly, but the comments at the bottom is instead of having the big X, they kind of shrunk it down. Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting, kind of a hey, I'm going to use this for a thing, but then they ended up using it for the universe image. Yeah. I don't think it was using anything else but the handbook.
Yeah, I believe that's it. Yeah. Yeah, it's Bob. I think we should go for this look in number 8. Call me on it.
I believe Harris.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right. And then this is where he now takes another huge step forward in the evolution of how he wanted to create artwork in comics. Because he begins not only evolving the style, particularly in the inking, but also wanting to add in different levels of wash, different grays, right? Different levels of gray.
In this series, he did it for like 2.5 years. This is the Resurrection. I always love this cover. I mean, nobody else. He draws really good skulls.
Oh yeah, I love skull. I love me a good skull, baby. I love illustrated skulls, man. And this is very interesting because I will say this: as beautiful as this skull is, Brian, and let me know what you think. This is one of those examples, though, where I personally, because it got changed for the published version, I'm going to show that to everybody right now. This is one of the examples where I think the editorial decision making was correct. I do prefer the changes and how it looks on the published cover. Check this out. I think a skull, right, closed in and showing half of it coming in from the side this way, I just think it makes for a way more interesting composition.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, really, really cool. So, just had to show that to compare. Because, yeah, I only recently noticed the original art on Calf. So, I was only ever familiar with this version here, and only very recently in this last.
And now it's like compositionally superior.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here it's just boring, right? It's just a beautiful skull, a beautiful, I mean, really beautiful illustrated skull, but it's just sitting there doing nothing, right? But now you do this, and it's like, okay, that's cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, now you're intriguing me and maybe making me think, what's this about? Yeah. So very, very cool. And because this is the title in which he really took another leap forward with his style, I decided to show multiple images here, everybody. So I'll cycle through them quick. I know not a lot of you.
This is definitely where his style started to really evolve. I think before he was.
Look at the storytelling here.
Finding out other people's styles and influences, but here I think he decided, hey, now I know the direction I'm going to go.
Yeah, and Brian, look at the bottom panels. That's actually my favorite part of this this DPS is these panels at the bottom. This looks
it's like I think Butch is been really overlooked on his composition. But I mean, right here, he started out as a penciler. He's known as a penciler, basically. People really don't think about his inks because he doesn't ink anybody else. Yeah. But I mean, this series here really shows how much he's evolved and how much better he's gotten as an inker.
Oh, and as a storyteller.
But I mean, the composition, the giant head and the upper part, and then just everything else. And now granted, in the book they did have a good colorist because you're doing something like this, you got to be able to handle that. Oh, I don't remember. Oh, this is.
Yeah, this is my friend Simon who owns this.
Oh, this is Guice over Grinberg, huh?
It's inking Grindberg. Imagine that. Wow.
Well, that's interesting. Because Grindberg, he's also become a very good inker as well. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
Guice is really channeling Wrightson here.
Yeah.
I mean, in the
the inking,
I'm doing the muscles, but I mean, really, and then the ghostly arm.
Yeah.
Butch really.
Oh, yeah.
I want this from you, the owner. Who has it?
Simon K. Go bother him.
I'll go bother him. This is a great example.
Here we go. More work where he's, again, pen and ink, but loving going in with all that.
But he's getting into the washes.
Yeah, the washes.
Up until this series, I don't think he really did any washes. If you look, except for a pin up here and there. This is really when he started to do the washes.
Yeah, that's exactly
and then
right.
This one here, the composition, the spotting blacks, but then also the whites in there. I think this is really it's not really a drawing piece; it's a composition piece.
Yeah, it's just a piece of graphic design, Yeah, really nice though. Look at this. This is
this is great.
Mickey owns this one. Look at this, and look at the techniques he's doing here.
Yeah,
Like,
he's really
wow. Wow. I mean, just in the hair alone, he's doing like 2-3 different types of techniques, you know? I mean, just look at that. It's wow.
That's great.
He's really experimenting and just, he's loving it. You can tell he's just loving what he's doing here. It's like, wow. Just amazing, amazing. Just this, to me, this is where he began becoming a true illustrator, not just a comic artist, Look at that. Look at this. Also from Mickey, check it out. Number 17, first page. Yeah. Really cool.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know Andy Lanning was.
Yeah.
He's more of an inker, but he's penciling. He's doing stories.
Right. That's right.
Go down.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just scroll back in. I wonder what inking John did.
Yeah.
But probably some kind of a flashback. They seem to have, like, if they have a different inker, they'll do like some kind of flashback or some kind of, page effect where they'll hire a different inker just to get something. Oh yeah, I remember this one. I always like this cover here.
Yeah, and this is another example of, this is only Butch's inking, and this is over Sal Voluto.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to own this, and I sold it like probably 20 years ago to Caesar. Caesar still owns it after all these years.
Yeah, interesting comment. I like Sal's work. This is really interesting inking.
Yeah, 2 different styles, right? Sal Voluto and Butch Guice. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. He's doing. This series might be working on something else, and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll bring in cover artist to help out," but then Butch goes and inks it.
Yeah,
and nice combination.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I think we got a couple more to go.
Ooh, he's back to doing more of his ink wash.
Yeah, the ink, a lot of wash. Sorry, guys, it's a small scan, so I can't. It gets blurry if I go in too much. But yeah, look at this. But look, remember what I mentioned about how when he would be influenced and looking at the work of other artists who he loved, like Kirby, Kubert. This is where he starts doing a Kubert-esque a riff with his art. Look at this arm here. All of these pen strokes. These are all Kubert imitations. All of this stuff here.
I'd love to see somebody do a art book on Butch.
Somebody who what? Sorry?
Do an art book on Butch.
Oh, an art book on Butch. Oh my God, I would love that.
I used to own this cover.
Did you?
Yeah, I picked it up. It was. I ended up. Somebody really wanted it, and I did it in a trade.
Okay.
Might have been Stuart getting it. I don't know, but I picked it up for just the the ink wash, and I said I love the faces, and it was just I think I said, and ended up trading it. Somebody really wanted it, so I liked it, but I was able to give it up.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, Brian, sometimes you got to give up something good to get something good in return, right? So, all right. So from Resurrection Man, he does a very short stint here on a mini series, I believe it was, on Iron Fist at Marvel.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't remember
this one?
You don't remember him doing this?
No, this is what
1998, I think.
Yeah, so I was kind of cutting back on my purchasing comics. Basically, 95 was when I started to just really pull back, and I'd get stuff, but I would be a lot more focused.
Okay.
And so I probably I liked Iron Fist, but I was never a big collector, and so I just didn't pick it up.
Yeah, I got you. That's a pretty cool page. Yeah. Some nice martial arts action here. Some nice images. So yeah, that's cool. And then after this, he goes again to DC, and once again continues the evolution of the style, the inking with all the different levels. Not only now, this is where he takes it like a step further, where he's not only doing all the shades of gray with the different levels of ink wash on top of the inking, but also starts adding a lot of white paint for effect.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in, and God, that white paint, oh, it looks so good. Sorry, this is a camera shot, everybody, so it's not the sharpest thing. It's not a scan, it's a camera photograph. But here, like you see in this guy's hair, right? And here, obviously down here, all in this stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Wow, he did some really nice work here. Check this out. Look at this. Brian, check this out, man.
Yeah, that's nice.
Wow, look at the...
Yeah, another one of the series that I probably didn't pick up just because so many out there at the time.
Yeah. And this is Legends of the DC Universe, everyone. Particularly, this is number 18. And yeah, this is 18, page 1. And this is Legends of the DC Universe, 18, page 5.
Oh my God.
But beautiful, beautiful. Oh my God.
Great composition as well.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Wow. Oh my gosh. I just, that's why it kills me when I see these pages and I want to show them, but it's like, the scan is not, very high quality, or the photo's not quality. I'm just like, it kills me because
how
beautiful it is.
I pay for premium, and I always scan and have 2000 DPI on all mine. I'm not, somebody could steal the scan. I don't really care. I own the artwork, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
But I want example, especially you got ones with, this inking. I'm a big fan. I prefer buying pages that are, inked black and white. So
yeah,
I want to give, good examples.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I got one more piece. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a better scan, or photo, I should say. At least it was larger. Still blurry. Still blurry.
Background, really nice backgrounds.
But you know what, Brian? This is why I can't help it. It keeps saying how it kills me that it's not a scan at high resolution, because like this, you can already tell the page is going to be gorgeous. But it kills me that I can't see just how gorgeous because of the quality of the...
I never understand. I mean, you can get, like, I've got a high res scanner for when I do stuff with books I do for Hermes Press.
Yeah.
But I have an Epson 7820 that cost me under $200.
Yeah.
That can do great 300 DPI scans, and I do it for all the artwork, and why other people don't. If you're going to share your nice artwork, share it. But some people think, oh, I'm just going to take a photo of it. But then the other people really want to see the great art you have. It doesn't display that well. But
that's it. That's it. That's my
opinion. I'm a snob.
No, well, listen, I don't think it's snobbery. I've always said the same thing. My view is, if we're all art collectors, if you love the art so much, I just believe we should all be responsible enough to display it. If we're going to share it, why wouldn't you want to share it and show it in the best light possible? Yeah. That's all. That's all I'm saying. A lot of the beauty here, yes, we can tell it's a beautiful page, but a lot of the beauty is lost because of the lower quality, unfortunately. But hey, at least this whoever owns it, at least they shared it. So yeah, great stuff, man, great stuff. I would love to see more from that issue. So from here, he ended up getting the gig on
I said I love this series. I've got a couple of great examples. I thought he was great on this series.
Yeah,
this one, as I said, another great composition. But he doesn't do his wash as much. But the other thing is, like, the other one was a one-off or a couple issues?
A couple issues, exactly.
He might have had just in between big projects, so he's able to put the time and effort into it.
Yeah, exactly.
And where the Birds of Prey, I mean that these are good, but not to what he was doing in the other one, just because it probably, I mean, you doing all this inking, even this one put in a lot of time and effort into it.
Gorgeous. Oh my God.
And
Again,
he has some great compositions in this one.
oh,
There was one, I don't know if you put it in, there's one splash from 33. Oh, and this one too. This one's really, with everything going on, he really is able to make a cohesive one. But he had this one from 33, which was a riff on Thunderball.
oh, okay.
Did you pick that one where a woman's like diving, or a canary's diving?
I did not. I did not.
So that's basically, it's, if you see Ra's al Ghul, he's standing there with his scuba fins on, and he's got his legs kind of crossed, and it's basically James Bond pose.
Okay.
And yeah, I could tell that he pulled it right from that. This another great one. Yeah, he did some really nice covers on this. There was one though, it was weird. They ended up redoing the cover because of the pose, and I kind of like the unpublished one over the published. Both of them were great, but it was interesting, like you were saying before, editorial choices.
Yeah.
And this one, yeah, as I said, great composition where they have the three panels there, and another great example of his faces.
The faces, the expressions. Oh,
yeah, he does. I think that's another thing they really overlook on that for the Birds of Prey, and and his Birds of Prey stuff is very popular. Oh yeah, another, what cover? What
29?
29. Okay.
Yeah, since 29.
Yeah. Now this is another great, image at the bottom, the three characters, but then also all in the background. It's just really nice. And what he was on it for about 2 years, I think. Something like that, close to 2 years.
Yeah, something like that. That's right. Yeah, and this, I believe this was the, one of, at least the last regular series that ultimately then led him over to CrossGen.
Oh yeah,
on Ruse.
With Perkins Inks.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought these guys were a great combination.
Yeah, magnificent.
Yeah, I mean, you get other people, but I think Mike did a great job inking him, and then with also Butch's evolving pencil style. That it's just, I mean, I liked Bob over Butch, but I think Mike ended up being a better combination. I would have loved to see them do stuff, for Marvel.
Oh, I would have loved to have done. I would have just been happy to see them work together a lot more in general. Yeah.
But then, probably Butch was. As I said, this one, it's he's only has to do pencil, so and he did that. Yeah, so I said about 3 years on that.
Yeah.
And really, I don't think he did much else during this time period. Maybe some covers here and there, but.
Well, no, when I don't think so, because I remember when CrossGen opened, the deal with CrossGen was that they wanted to try to emulate the old school Marvel bullpen, and if you signed a contract with them, you were basically exclusive to only work.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that I don't know if he did any covers for other series with CrossGen.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know if he kind of, when he was on Rue.
I will admit, I only bought CrossGen for this series. I really didn't get into anything else, and it was more of the combination of Butch and Perkins for
Yeah.
this.
Look at that. What a beautiful
Yeah.
face. Look at
And
that.
I
And
don't
here,
have an example from this series. I just haven't found the right one.
yeah.
The
Well,
other thing, the, the
John Stewart sold off like a ton of his collection over the last couple of years. That was your chance.
the other thing is for me, and I like it for the artwork, is it's missing all the dialogue.
Right.
And that for me, I have very few modern pieces because 95 is when they started going digital. I have probably maybe 24 at most or less, and I've got 1,000 pieces that don't have dialogue. It has to be something really special for me
Yeah.
to get an interior because I like the story and it's missing the story. So if I pick up a page without dialogue, it's got to be purely for the artwork. Now, this cover I would love to have. This is a fantastic cover. But yeah, the interiors, it's got to be something that really speaks to me artistically because I just think that without the dialogue, it's missing a big chunk. So I have most of my stuff 95. After that, I did collecting less, but still getting pieces by Butch. This is another nice one.
Yeah. Nice bottom half splash. Yeah. Very lovely. Just beautiful work. And yeah, this it was cross-gen where I first discovered Mike's work, actually. I when I opened Ruse, I was like, wow, this is like such great stuff. Oh, Butch looks so good here. Who's inking him? And then I flipped to the front page, to the credits page, and I'm like, Mike Perkins? Who the hell is Mike Perkins?
Have you read some of his Swamp Thing?
Of course I have, of course.
And then the what was it? The the JSA one they did a little while ago. That was really good.
Yeah. The what do you call it? The Tales of the Dark Multiverse.
Yeah, that was also good. He's doing a Batman one, and I want to pick it up, but I said I don't go to the comic shop much anymore. This is a fantastic piece. I love the figure work.
Yeah, I love it's so scary.
It's so really scary.
Good. I love the fact like you could feel the weight of that hammer. Like I could just see like, oh my god.
This is all Butch for this one, isn't it?
No, it's a Perkins. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mike Inkting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they both collaborated on all of the covers together.
Yeah.
And here we have this is I wanted to show because this is for the trade paperback, the first volume of the trade paperback. And I just wanted to show just to give everybody who likes to learn about how, penciling and inking work, what it might look and, what a penciler then adds to an inker adds to a penciler's work. Look at these beautiful thin lined pencils here, right?
Yeah.
Really, really nice. Check it out. Doesn't need to spot the blacks because he knows that Mike will take care of all of that for him.
Yeah, I mean, especially they worked together for a long time.
Exactly, and there we go. And all the fabric looks great. And it looks like actual fabric, which I love.
Yeah, it's like so unfortunate. I'd like to get some more pencil pieces by Butch. I just have a few from his Amber Blake series.
Oh yeah,
from the covers, but yeah, it's you don't see a lot of his pencils out there. Just uninked.
Look at this. A promo piece by Butch and Mike.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. Look at all that background detail. Wow.
Now, this is a great example of his composition.
Yeah.
I mean, everything works. And another piece I'd love to own.
Yeah, it's a beauty for sure.
It is.
So, after CrossGen, yeah, this is Olympus. It's a soft cover. Well, maybe it was issued in hardcover first, but it's called Olympus, everybody, and it's a one-shot type, graphic novel, if you will, like a European album that he did for, I believe, Humanoids and DC combined.
When I saw it on Dave Karen's site, who he helped sell Butch's stuff, and I saw this, and unfortunately, it had already sold, and I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those interesting situations, though, Brian, where a lot was changed. So this is technically the art for number one, but check out here. Let me show you what it looks like when it was published, and then I'll go back and forth. You see?
Yeah.
So they took elements, and then they took the more interesting ones that they thought would be sellable, right? And then they moved them around.
Well,
yeah, you've got the Medusa, but they decided to not use the Cyclops at all here.
Well, no, but if you go back to the other one, all they did was they just took the left side. And, well, are you sure not the back?
Well, no, because the humans here are from the right side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, but it's sorry about that, everybody.
I take the original.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And here's a page. This is an example of you guys like to talk about rain pages. All right, well, this is a rain page. This is a rain page. Wow. Yeah, with the scratch razor blade technique. Yeah, adding a lot of texture to the page.
Yeah, Bill Everett used that same technique when he was doing Submariner.
Yes, exactly. That is correct. So yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah.
So after this one-shot project of Olympus, it's where he goes to DC again, and he decides to do a run as a monthly artist. This time on Aquaman.
Yep.
Aquaman, Sword of Atlantis. And keep in mind, everybody who's watching, what I said earlier this evening about how you can tell at a certain point, if you're very familiar with Joe Kubert's work, you'll see what I mean by being influenced by Joe's work while he was working on this. I'm mostly showing covers, but if you look at the interiors, you'll notice it a lot more. But yeah, check that out. This is the cover to 43. Beautiful background. What a great building. That's superb.
Building, I believe it's a ship with some kind of building on it.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting. Oh yeah.
That's funny. But here it's kind of like a mix of. He starts to get a little bit more scratchy with the inking. You'll notice a scratchier feel to it. Sorry for the quality, everybody, but I thought some of you like these shark characters. I like sharks, so figured I'd show it. Aquaman 47. This is King Shark, I assume. Here we go.
And the other thing, and you don't think about it, and I was looking at it, is one of the hardest things artists have. I've gotten feedback is drawing hands.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Butch really is really good drawing hands. He's not like Rob Liefeld, where he hides a lot of times hands or feet. But Butch, I say, you look at when the hands are really in the forefront, you can really tell how well he does hands. He knows the structure of the hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and I love
it. It looks like a Rorschach test.
Yeah, I love the tentacles. They really, really nice how it pops from the background.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool. I got one more from this series, everyone. Check this out. With swordfish, a couple of swordfish. So he's doing a little bit of wash, a little bit of the white paint as well.
Yeah, and I said,
Little
probably
touches.
when you go to the cover, it ends up, with you'll put in the water and the colors for the water, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, this is I think one of his weaker ones. I wish he would have added more to the background. The figures are fantastic, but it just seems kind of there, and I really wish he would have done some inking. You do the color, colors for the water, but I think it would have really popped more if he could have done some more inking with the background.
For sure.
But the figures are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he goes back to do another. He loved doing these special projects for the people of like the humanoids and those European publishers. So this is one called Mirrors of Mandalay, and he was
I'm not
originally
familiar with that, but that looks really nice.
Yeah, he was originally supposed to do this on his own, but deadline issues crept up, and then Perkins had to help him out. So Mike did quite a bit of work with him.
Yeah.
Including on the cover. So this is the cover to volume 1. And this the cover to volume 2. There we go. Yeah, it was a 2-volume series. And after finishing that, he starts to do Iron Man. He goes back to Iron Man, but this time not with Bob Layton. This time he's doing it with that amazing style, that beautiful illustrative style. Or it's just inking, wash, different types of wash with the white paint again. Oh my God, I love that stuff. Love that stuff. Look at this. Look at this. World War Hulk. Look at this. Standing in the middle of Times Square, I guess, New York City.
Yeah.
That's well. I mean, it's like it's a hologram, I suppose. But yeah, really cool. And look at this one. With the helicarrier. I can't get too big, guys. Sorry. Again, not a high resolution scan, unfortunately, but what a piece. Wow. You could feel the power in this, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is so cool. Helicopters down below. Manhattan. I guess that's Manhattan. Helicarrier coming up. Launching missiles at him. Yeah, it's just cool. And that's from Iron Man, Invincible Iron Man number 20. And here we go again. So this is, again, Invincible Iron Man number 24. This is a much better scan. So we get to see a little more of the white paint here on top of the inks. But unfortunately, not enough pages out there on the market in collections. So I didn't have much of a selection to choose from. So
or just.
But look at that.
Public.
Oh, look at that. Come on. That is just superb. Love that stuff, man. Oh, gosh. And that's what we were saying before. That's why it's so imperative. That's why I always harp on the fact that I wish people would care more about how they present their art. It's just, you want to show it as much as you possibly can,
Yep.
And so then he starts working. He does start working. So this is a page from Captain America 600. Of course, before this, he did quite a bit of work inking Steve Epting. But as I said, excuse me, because this is a primarily, he was primarily a penciler most of his career. I only wanted to show a few examples of his inking. So I didn't want to show, examples of the work that he did over Epting. So I decided to just start with the Captain America work that he was penciling himself, And so here we go. Black Widow. I love these emotions. He's so good at that.
Oh yeah.
And the faces, as always, we keep mentioning. Here's a cool little splash. And remember what I said about kind of ripping on other artists that he likes? You see Kirby here, the pose?
Yeah, and the inking's also different as well.
Yeah.
A lot heavier blacks.
Yeah. Can't get too big here. Let me see. All right. But yeah.
And I really love the lettering design.
On the side, right? Yeah.
It's very well done.
Yeah. After Cap, everyone, after Captain America, you may remember he did a brief stint on this comic book called Scar, Son of Hulk. And I got an example of that, but without Scar, just, because it's a Silver Surfer example. I thought, hey, this is cool. But look what he did. I love that he was doing hand-drawn lettering for the titles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so old school. Look at that. All hand-drawn. Scar, Son of Hulk. Beautiful. And props to Mickey. I believe that's Mickey's collection this is from. So that's pretty cool. Now look at this. This is a project that it's sad. It's happy and sad. It's happy in the sense that this is called Storming Paradise. It was a mini series that Butch was working on. When I first met him, the one and only time actually that I met him in person, when I went down to visit Mike Perkins. And he took me to his studio when he was sharing a studio with Butch, Andrew Hennessy, and Laura Martin. Well, at that time, Laura Martin had already left. But when we stopped by the studio, Butch and Drew were there. And he was working on a page from this series. And he loves war comics. Butch always loved war comics, right? And so he was thrilled to be working on this project. And the reason I say it's happy but sad and unfortunate is I don't really know the story behind how it happened or what happened. But when you look at the credits and you look at the whole miniseries, he did very little of it. Ultimately, other people ended up not only could he not pencil and ink himself like he did at the beginning in first issue, but he ultimately ended up having to have somebody else come in as penciler, and he started inking the penciler, which is too bad. I'm sure if he had the ability to, he would have definitely liked to pencil and ink this entire thing.
Well, I mean, what is this done during his Captain America run?
It was around that time, but I don't quote me on it. I think he might have finished already, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so I don't want to say either way. The other thing was that I had from this series, Storming Paradise, is that he even did a painted cover.
Ooh.
If you can believe that. Check this out. It's so wild.
Cool.
Look at this. Yeah, let me pull out a bit. There we go. Look at that. So that's really, really neat. It's a photograph, everybody, so that's why there's a lot of glare, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the issue 4 cover. Yeah. But I thought that's really cool. It's not, you don't typically see paintings by Butch, right? So
no, you don't.
So around this time, I believe the next thing he did was a book called Fear Itself, and this also had some gorgeous ink, gorgeous inking with some wash, some white paint. I mean, look at this double page splash. Let me zoom in a bit if I can. Look at this. Look at the details. You got Cap fighting whoever it is in the background here. And he put in all the detail in Cap's figure, even though it's not large.
Yeah.
Look at that. Let me come over here. Look here. Look at this little Cap here. Really fully rendered, even though it's going to publish really tiny.
Yeah.
The Falcon, the same thing here. Look at that. That's great. Just a nice montage of imagery. And I believe I have a couple other ones. Look at this. You got Natasha back in there with Nick Fury. Look at this. I'm dying to see this in high resolution just so I could see this panel of Natasha crying right here.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, gosh. Oh, I would love to see that in high res, man. Oh, but yeah. Yeah, so you can tell this is a beautiful page. Look at this. Another page. This is great. This is terrific. This. And around this time is when he then goes and does a series of covers. I believe it was only covers to a miniseries called Six Guns. I don't know anything about it other than apparently it was Marvel, and it's Marvel's like Western characters. Like supposedly Two Gun Kid is in it or something. I don't really know much about it, but yeah, I can't zoom in too much on this. Nice. But you can tell it's beautiful, right? Like amazing. I got a couple. I got 2 or 3 scans here. Let me see if I I got a couple that are fantastic quality images. Look at this, okay? Look at this. Look at that. Like that.
And really gets drapery as good as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at this. I got another one here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all this work here. Just really beautiful stuff. So good, man. And I believe this is the final example, the cover to number 5. Unfortunately, can't get too big on this. It's a very small scan, but boy, I wish I could see this not only larger, but in RGB instead of grayscale. Because yeah, that face is just fantastic. And I'd love to see all the metallic filigree work inside the gun here.
Yeah.
The gun barrel, you can see there's something in there, just hard to see because the scan's too small and low res, but beautiful. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Have you ever heard of this Six Guns thing, Brian?
No, I didn't. As I said, what year was it?
Oh gosh, I don't know at what point that is. 2000. Gosh, at this point we're probably in the 2000, late 2000, like 2010s or 11s or something.
Yeah, it's it was like around 2004. I pretty much dropped anything unless I saw that somebody I liked was doing a series. So there's a lot of stuff that I missed during this period just because comics have changed so much.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. This is just one example I have from Secret Avengers. He did some work on this. But yeah, there's not many examples out there, so I only have this one example. But just the drawing is the storytelling is on point.
Oh yeah,
the drawing is just beautiful. It's so clear. Look how clear the storytelling is here.
Yeah, he's thematically with close-ups and different shots and angles. He really has it. Yeah, he really understands it.
It's very cinematic, It's just beautiful. So after this, he starts doing some work for Nick Barucci. I believe this is the publisher. Let me see. Masks.
Oh, I love this. I love this cover. I'd love to get the original to this because the ink wash and everything on this is fantastic.
Yeah, look at that. The skeleton hands playing with the cards, and the shadow.
I said besides swashbuckling, I love the pulp. You've got
the characters,
Shadow, the Phantom. Those are the ones. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Always wanted to see if I could get this one, but it was already sold.
Yeah, bother Mickey. Mickey might want to get bothered. I don't know. There we go, everybody.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, another great skull. Reminds me of a cover to Contest of Champions, I believe number 3.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yes, I remember that.
1983. I believe it was a Hannigan.
Yeah, I always loved that series.
Hannigan, Bermuda Jr., Leighton, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Combination, yeah. So that's cool. He did a one-off cover here on Black Bolt, a variant, and this is beautiful. It's just a pinup, but it's a pretty cool pinup. So nice. Just the figure work is it's perfect. It's fantastic. Yep. Yeah, I love how it does the inks. The inks are very washy. You got the solid black stuff here, and then all surrounded by more washier types. So that's really cool. And then he goes back to do, again, the European album stuff with Amber Blake.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of pencil prelim, not to this cover, but I picked up a couple of prelims to some of the covers he did for this. And I said one of the few pencil-only pieces I have by Butch.
Yeah.
But the spotting blacks are really good. And I said, great faces.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his facial.
It's kind of like, John Buscema with the villains. He always does unique faced villains, and Butch is the same way. Oh, yeah. I love the the backgrounds with.
Oh. Yeah, that's just what a combination of background and foreground, right? Like, so good, man. So
and great, maze makes you think of the maze from what was the
Shining?
Shining, yeah, The Shining.
Yeah, that's such a just again.
I love the dress is all black, but then you have shadows on the top.
Exactly, super solid black. Yeah, what a great contrast against the black and white of the maze.
Yeah,
oh yeah, beautiful, so beautiful. And here's another
one. I have the pencil to this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, I have 2 pencils. I think he did 2 different designs on this. And it's like I said, I was, sometimes, you do it one way, and you want to change something. I'm trying to think. Oh no, I just have the one. I was thinking I had some other Blake designs, but I have this one, and the pencils are very detailed. And you got even though he's inking it, he put in all the shadows, which is kind of surprising because most artists, when they ink themselves, they usually don't put in the heavy shadows in the pencil.
I just want to put it out there, but does anybody? Well, for those of you who know her, does anybody see Tatiana in the face of this woman here? I feel like I look at her and I think that's Tatiana's face. No,
I don't know. Possibly. I don't know.
I'm not saying he used her. I'm just saying it resembles her. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyways, look at the city work though. Look at the city work.
I can just imagine how long it took him to do the city work.
Oh man, that's gorgeous. So beautiful, man. So beautiful. And then here we go. This is another. We revisit the project that's near and dear to your heart.
So if you look at it, and then the one you showed at the beginning of the show,
right?
You've got the skull in the background and the same characters. He's just revisited them, 24 whatever years later, because he did this in 2019. But it's all the same characters. So yeah, so I have the original one from the 80s and I have this one. I really wanted to have, I saw this one, I said, I got to have it because he's basically said, okay, I'm going to revisit this. And so it's interesting, the different choices. I love them both.
Right.
I prefer the first one.
That's because
Composition.
I believe that's because a lot of it has to do with your nostalgia speaking, you know?
No, but I also like the composition a little better. But I
Okay,
love
yeah.
the inking of this one. The wash stuff in this is just fantastic, and the faces, especially the one on the lower right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so no, it's two different.
Yeah,
He's evolved. He's changed his inking style, but I
it's
mean,
cool.
really, how many? Because a lot of times an artist will, oh, I'll redo a cover I'm known for, but they'll stick a lot closer to the design.
Oh yeah,
This
sure.
one has all the elements, but he changes the design except for the large skull in the background. Pretty much everything, all the poses, everything else has changed. So, I mean, this is a great example to show his how his art and inking has changed, but then also his approach to composition. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
no, as I said,
Yeah,
two,
and I love that, Brian, by the way, the fact that you have that, because it's like not only does he revisit the project that was, the project that he did early on in his career, but when he revisited, I love the fact that he revisited like decades later, where we can get to see from one cover to the next the complete evolution of how his work evolved over all those decades, you know?
yeah, I've got 4 of the 5 covers he did from this
Oh,
series.
I
The
know you
first,
do.
this one's the best. I do like this one. This is very interesting. I love the way he does the armor.
Oh,
On
yeah, it's fantastic. That's why I wanted to show this. I
You know,
mean,
you got all the subtle lines and then some wash. It's real. This is a real subtle um, cover and
yeah,
some great
quiet.
designs incorporated into it. And he takes the time to put all the trash or whatever on the steps.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And
And
you got
this one's just
the creature.
different. Yeah, it's just different. But the way he inked the creature is 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 great. You
Yeah,
know,
I love it.
he really took the time. It wasn't like big. You could really see the texture of the creature,
Oh yeah, and
especially
of
in
course,
the head or whatever
it's
you
how
want to call it.
yeah, it's how he inked it that created that textured look, plus the addition of that all that white paint. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just beautiful. And I love this one. I so love this. I can't tell you how much I love this
Well,
one.
you know what's weird though?
What
He redrew the face.
he
He
did?
pasted another face on top of it.
Oh,
But
so I mean, he whited it out and then drew it again.
no, it's a piece. He drew it on another piece of paper.
Oh,
He
a
just
piece of paper.
lumped
Oh,
it
okay.
up. But it's
Okay.
great. I mean,
Love it.
another example of his understanding of drapery and folds.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I love the cat at the bottom.
Yeah, Puss in Boots. How do you not love that? That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Animal lovers everywhere, or at least cat lovers.
It was
Uh,
interesting. I mean, he did the alternate covers, and a couple of others did some, new ones. And it's interesting, some of the covers, how he approached it and how the other ones approached it. But he did this to, help Bill because he was having issues.
that's when he was
And,
ill.
yeah, and so they
Yeah.
reprinted it, but then there was enough interest that Dynamite said, "We'll do a 5-issue miniseries." And Butch, said, "I don't know if they asked him or just he just said he would, but he said he'd do covers to him, and that probably helped the sales and helped Bill as well."
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm happy he did.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And yeah, you should be proud, man, to have these. These are gorgeous.
Yeah, I just want to get the 5th one. Nice set, but I'm still satisfied with just the 4. Oh yeah, and him doing the Barbarella. These were some definitely different compositions.
Yeah, I think
And
it's fitting.
I will admit I didn't read the series. I just I love the covers, and I bought one of the covers, so I don't really know what the story was like. I just
Right.
love Butch's covers.
Right. Well, I got another one here.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah. And this one looks like this. You know what I see when I look at her here? I'm like, oh, it looks like Miss Mystic by Neil Adams.
it does. The hairstyle, you're right.
Yeah.
And I love
Cool,
the
right?
yeah the plants.
Yeah. And the expression on the face,
Oh yeah,
so cool.
yeah. He did one other one that was really trippy. But yeah, the plants. I love the detail in the plants on this.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's very loose. You notice how loose his brush strokes are? It's just loose and
Well, I
whimsical.
know yeah, the inking style's a little different for these covers.
Yeah.
The other thing is that also he might not have put as much time because you do some of those ones with some of the ink wash, it takes a lot more time. And this one, so I own this one, and I saw this, and I'm like, oh, I gotta have it because I don't know if he was given any direction, but the eyeballs are just
Yeah.
fantastic. And he does. I said all they has a little ink wash in it, but she really doesn't. So she kind of stands out. But yeah, I saw this one. I gotta have it, and it's I love its figure work on this too. The hair.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's great. Beautiful. Yeah. Just so 60s to me,
It is. Well,
I love
I'm Barbarella.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's in keeping with that the times, So after or around ish the same time that he was doing this stuff, he then goes to start doing the Invaders.
Yeah.
But before doing that, I don't know if you're around watching Mr. Southern Comic Geek, but here's one more to tease you. He came back and did Valiant again, a Turok cover.
I remember that cover.
Turok number 1.
Cover.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, it's a really small, low res file, so I can't get bigger than this. It'll get too blurry, but beautiful, beautiful. Really like it. And then after this is when he goes to Invaders. Yeah. And I got several examples here, so I'm just gonna kind of rifle through these. Look at this. Again, another reason, people, please make better quality scans. This would be so. This has got to be so absolutely stunning in person. Oh my gosh. I can't even. Anyways, very nice. There's another cover of Winter Soldier.
I remember that one. That's very good.
And then he's got this one here. Look at all the different Submariners at the top.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And then we've got half splash-ish panel page from number 6. Not a great. Again, it can't really get too big, low res, but yeah, great battle page with the wizard whizzing by and cat fighting, Baron Blood up at the top, and I love this one. Oh my god, this one! Wow, man, look at that! Oh, so good. But again, I wish this was in color, not grayscale, so we could, you want to see the color of that wash,
Yeah.
He's got different colors in his wash. So look at that, everybody. Wow. So beautiful. Look at this. Now that is power, action. As only Kirby and Marvel could bring it to you. Look at that. So amazing. Love it. Love it. Look at this. Wide stance, like super wide stance. Really, really wicked. Wow. Very nice. I got this one. I think Alberto, these are yours. I think I don't know if you're scanning them, but if you are, RGB, please. RGB, not grayscale. Yes. And here's, I believe, the last one. But yeah, I love the composition here. I love how the both characters' arms are going in the exact same direction. You know, the diagonal. That's really cool. Let me put that up here like this for everybody to see. A little bit of nice dry brush here inside the wings, inside the explosion here. Yeah, that's really neat. Okay. Then he did this cover, which I never heard of. Hellions. This is Hellions number 2.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so some kind of mutant thing. The only person I recognized was Havoc, and I'm not sure, but I think that's not Cable. What's his name? Bishop. I think that's Bishop. And maybe this is Wild Child here.
Oh, the other one, the egg one in the side, was the one that kidnapped Nathan in X Factor.
Oh, that's right.
And then Wild Child, and then
Yeah, I think wasn't this guy from like Thunderbolt or something? This guy.
No, that was a version of Iron Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the helmet looks familiar.
Really? Wow, Iron Man. Okay.
I think, but the helmet. That's why I think I remember there's a helmet like that. It might have been like an alternate one, but I might be wrong.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, everybody, gotta let you know that in the last 2 years, Butch the last 2 years was essentially from like early 2023 till early 2025. This was the period where he was doing a lot less published stuff. I mean, I could barely find anything.
Did you include the Kent Menace piece that I had?
Sorry, which one?
Kent Menace?
No.
Oh, you got to check it out. It's it looks like Mephisto sitting on a throne. The ink wash. If you like his ink wash, you should check it out. I'd never heard of the series, and it was not a splash, but the Spotting Blacks was amazing. So you should check it out.
Well, everybody, please, you know what to do. You can always go down below the below the description of this video. You will see the direct link to Brian's gallery. So go check that out. Click on that, and then go check out his.
That's the last piece I got by Butch. I think he did it last year sometime.
Okay. So anyways, what the point I was going to make, guys, is that even his certainly I'm just judging by what I could find online in terms of original art. Even the variant cover started to drop off, and so in the last 2 years, when he began to open up commission lists, and so we're going to finish off the show with about 20 or so commissions that we'll cycle through. And I'm not going to spend too much time with them. And then this way I can finish off the show with together with Brian. So I love this one. First commission. Although this one goes a little bit back out of order. This is the 2020. And it's Mademoiselle Marie escaping away from Hitler and his goons. I always loved this one. I always thought this was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Great composition.
Yeah. Really fantastic piece. Oh, so nice. And then we've got the Eradicator, along with the Superman statue from the Death of Superman series. So I'll zoom this up a bit since it is a decent scan. Beautiful. I love that he was doing the wash stuff in his commissions in the white paint, you know. I love that. And he did this for Caesar, Jonah Hex. This is kick-ass. Love this. Love the even the little touches like how he did the vultures, you know. Just, oh, so good on the technique there, man. Yeah, so that's a great piece. And then he did this beautiful Death of Superman era black suit, containment suit Superman, with all the Reign of the Superman characters behind him. So great faces. So that's kind of my favorite part of this piece. Just the faces, just awesome. Love that. And there's the Star Wars piece, Vader versus Luke. I love the dynamic stance that he put Luke in. That kicks ass. I love that a lot. Let's zoom in a bit here. And then we got Winter Soldier. And he did a lot of these, boy. He was really popular with Winter Soldier. Everybody loved his Winter Soldier, and he did a lot of Winter Soldier commissions for sure. So if you're the lucky one whose commission I picked, well, and the display, there you go.
And it's kind of like Dave Gibbons and Watchmen.
How do you mean?
Dave, that's most of his commission requests was Watchmen.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
When I got a commission from Dave Gibbons, because I liked his Doctor Who stuff he did, I found out the guy who's repping him saying, yeah, you might not have to wait that long, because he ended up doing it because he was sick of doing Watchmen. He wanted to kind of mix in something else.
Right. Yeah, no, and I can totally understand that too, for sure. Here's a great reinterpretation of Action Comics #1 featuring the Eradicator. So that's really neat.
Yep.
And I think Bill Byers owns this, so kudos to you, Bill, if this is yours. Yeah, this is fantastic. Love this. Love this. By the way, I'm keeping a pretty good pace with the commissions. There's probably about 15 or so to go. Do you have time to do them all, Brian?
Let's see. I can be here for a few more minutes.
A few more minutes? Good. Then we'll do it.
I remember seeing this one, and this is the one saying, okay, I want to get a commission from him. He had done an iPod piece for me when he did the sort of swashbuckler Kickstarter, because he was offering commissions to help raise money for that as well. So I had him do Raider from Sword of Swashbucklers. Cool. This one here too, I remember seeing that, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's definitely have to get a commission from him.
That's great, man. A romantic piece, like in a bit of a romantic moment between the two of them. That's, yeah, to me, look at that. Look at all the detail he puts in the gun at the bottom. I mean,
yeah,
wow. And that's just kind of a throwaway, you know. It's wow, but great emotion here. Just beautiful, beautiful scene, man. So this is one of my favorites. I love this one. There's Bug, a Micronauts piece.
Yeah, but I was watching Dave, his rep, post these in Comic Art Fans.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, this is one of my all-time favorites out of all the ones he ever did. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Oh, gosh, Andre, you're so lucky to own this, pal. Holy crap! Wow, look at this. And Andre, thank you for making great scans. Oh, you can really.
That was nice.
You can really see the technique, and oh, look at that. I love her face. So beautiful.
Yep.
So beautifully done. And all the wind whipping around, you know, the sandstorm. Look at that. So good. So good. Kudos, Andre. And of course, a classic. He got a lot of requests for Superman Doomsday stuff, naturally. So he did a lot of these. I figured I had to show at least one or two. And this one's fantastic. Another one of my favorites. Doctor Strange with Clea, with the spooky eyes in the trees. Yeah, that's cool. I wish I had a color scan. I think this is Dave Carlin's scan. He was doing them all in black and white, unfortunately, grayscale.
Yeah, he did one commission for me, and I got back on his list again. I was really kind of hoping to get another one, but unfortunately, he passed away.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love this Hulk with the jets. This is great. Love it. Just so much energy in the work.
Yep.
Love this.
This one, I wanted him to do it in his 80s inking style. So that's why it looks so different. And, I found out he's a huge fan. He was a huge fan of Gene and Scott.
Oh, cool.
And, yeah. So then I was trying to, we were talking about stuff, and I said, wanted to have, something where she's trying on outfits, and Scott comes by, and then he says, well, hey, I've got this idea. And he did this thing. He did the Masterworks, the whole thing on his own. And the original pencils that I saw are almost exactly the same, except Bobby was not in his Iceman form. He was just in his regular outfit. And I said, well, can you have it so he's in his snowman outfit, he's got a snow, and he says, oh, great idea. And then this is how it ended up. But I absolutely love it, perfect, kind of throwback to Kirby. It's not, like some of his other ones where it's a lot of stuff going on, big composition. It's simple. And so, I was wanting to have him do, if he could have done a second commission, I was wanting him to do Swords of Swashbuckler, but in the full pirate outfit with on a ship in space, all that type of thing. But unfortunately, this is I remember seeing this one.
Yeah, this is from a series of a character called Neil Fargo. It's from a series of novels called Fargo, the Fargo series. So that's an interesting choice of character.
Yeah,
but Butch loves this type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's fun. I love that. Jack Daniels, I'm assuming. Yeah. We did.
Yeah.
Another beauty, Phantom Stranger. Yeah. This is really cool. Look at that figure up here. What the heck is going on there? Interesting. The leaves, that's just floating by in the wind. It's so cool. Yeah. That's really nice. Another one from Caesar's collection. Just fantastic. Oh, so good. The Question. There we go. Yeah, this is, gosh. That's illustration. That is pure illustration right there. Look at that. Oh, so good, that technique. My gosh. Beautiful, just beautiful. You got Wolverine and Iron Fist.
Of course.
And that's really cool. Yeah, look at this. Again, wish I had a color scan, but look at that. I love the Iron Fist face. And I also love that Wolvie's claws are just the right length. I love that length. Different artists interpret it different ways, you know. But yeah, that's cool. Oh, love this one.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Oh, so nice fun.
Cool, but I love the pose and the expressions.
Yeah, exactly. I like the look on her face. So good. The grin on his. That's great.
Yeah, like mine, he really gets the faces right.
And even the hand. Look at the hand expressions, the shyness on her face, right? It goes perfectly with her hands, the way she's keeping her hands. His posture of how he's standing, her as well. Like, this is perfection on this one. I love this one. Yeah, love it. Here we go. Deathlock. Close up. Okay. And this is the Conan I told you about, Brian.
No, as I said, I think he would have done a great Conan. I mean, John Bisham is the one that I love. As I said, I like the way.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I'm in the minority. I never cared for Barry Windsor Smith because his Conan always seemed a little too puny and young, and I didn't think his skills as an artist were as strong at that point. Got really good better, but I always thought Conan should be a lot more bigger presence and a little older, and Butch did a great job with this.
Yeah, for sure. Beautiful. I love it. And I love this one too. Manhunter. God, love this. Love this. I've never read any Manhunter, but I just adore his.
It's really good. I mean, Walt's stuff on it is really good.
Yeah, even the stories you like.
Yeah. You should go. I think they have trade paperbacks on it. You should pick it up.
Yeah, that's. I've talked with some friends who told me the same thing. I'd like to, if they're still in print, Otherwise,
I think you can probably find them somewhere.
I got to get into digital anyway, so I should probably just do that. But yeah, beautiful.
I can't get a digital. If I get a digital book, it's like, there's some kind of artwork that page it, and I want to see what the art is. But to read a comic, I can't read it digitally. You got to flip a page.
You're old school, man. I know. I get it. Believe me. I know.
Yeah, I'm old.
Yeah. Oh, I said old school. I didn't say old. But yeah, here's a Hot Girl, and I should say Shayera and Shauna. Yeah. So that's pretty cool too. I like the expressions on their faces as well.
No.
That's kind of fun. There you go. A couple left here. I think this is the second to last piece. Yeah. Check this out. Amazing montage of the whole Captain America and Winter Soldier saga,
Yeah. That is.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. Wow.
Yep.
What a great Red Skull. I mean, spooky, scary. Just, love it. So good. All of it. What a great 2-page double wide commission, man.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful piece. And I believe the last commission. Yes. Yeah. One of the ones that everybody, I love Cyborg Superman, so I had to get at least one of those in here. And like I said, one of the, the whole Death of Superman era, super highly requested. So I had to put one of these in there, and he did a great job on this.
Nice.
Yeah, I loved it. I still keep saying the movie people, they need to put this guy in the movie. Have an all out battle.
Yeah, no, let them get a Superman right first. The last, he knocks up Lois and all this other stuff, and it's been so dark and depressing. The new one looks much better than what's been done for decades. So,
yeah. Well, everybody, let me come back to you now. And there we go. Here we go. That was good. So 3 hours, 10 minutes. We did that. Yes. A lot of people, I'm disappointed to say, dropped out. And it's been a long time since I've had this low of a live viewership. Excuse me.
But then probably a lot of people might have known his earlier stuff than his later ones, and who knows?
You know what? I really wanted to do it just to honor Butch, but really for not only his fans of people like us two who are fans of his work throughout his entire career, but I thought also if we have a show and tell of examples of his work throughout his entire career, all in one, pretty compact video. Yeah. I thought, like, people in the future who may not know who Butch is today, but they discover his art later on down the road. It'd be nice if they discover and they enjoy it. And somehow they start doing, Google searches or whatever. And if they, come up on a Google search and, hey, look at this. Oh, the whole video, 3 hours plus just on his art. Wow, So I thought that would be a nice sort of reference type thing, for people to have in perpetuity. So,
anyways, I have to run.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brian. I'm gonna stick around for a few minutes. But I appreciate you hanging with me, and also thank you for giving all the commentary you did, man. I appreciate it. It was
what? I also saw a bunch of Butch's stuff that I wasn't familiar with. A lot of the newer stuff, just because I don't collect as much anymore. So it was fun for me as well.
Cool, awesome, man. Thank you so much again, man. Have a good one.
Talk later. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So everybody, first, this is what I usually do at the top of the shows. So I'm going to do it now since I didn't have a chance earlier. Want to give a quick shout out to my newest subs, Delight Loves Movies, who was here last week and spent the whole episode with us. Delight definitely is into movies, and then she ended up subscribing after the fact. So thank you, Delight, and we hope to see you back here at some point. Beth, the landlord's daughter, not my landlord. I don't know whose landlord's daughter, but that's a great name. And Anonymous, as always, don't know who you are because your privacy settings did not allow me to see your name. But thank you all for subscribing. I appreciate that. And also for the few of you who are here, I just wanted to say, I know a lot of people, when you hear a creator pass away, you might be on social media and you don't really know what to say, when people are giving their condolences and stuff. But I just wanted to here pop this link in. This is just a link for the funeral home information, and it's the page where people are leaving their condolences to Butch's family. And so, his some of his closer friends, family, peers, fans have left messages. I think it's when people pass away. I know, having lost a lot of people in my family and in friends, I know how much it really helps a family to read caring messages from people, even if they didn't know who you are. So this link here I'm putting in right now, it's to that funeral home page, and so feel free to leave a message if you want to. No obligation, but if you want to, that's a nice place to do it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it on one of those posts on Facebook or whatever, or Instagram, and what else do I have here? Yes. So don't forget, everybody, to check out Nikki B on the EXP this coming Friday. There's a lovely gentleman himself, youtube.com/the-EXP, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, and buy some art from him. And also, quickly, got one promo for a video, and that is Carl. Carl, don't know if you were here tonight. I apologize. But Carl did his unboxing. I believe it's number 41, but Carl, you're going to have to tell me if I'm right or wrong. I believe it's 41. You didn't number it this time. You didn't number it. And so your not show and tell, your unboxing video link is right there. So for anybody who wants to, please do check that out. And yes, indeed, Marcus. Hi, everybody who's still here with me. Good to see you. I missed you guys. So yeah, Nick's birthday show, but remember, Thursday is his actual birthday. Okay, so if you want to wish him a happy birthday on his actual birthday, catch him on Instagram or Facebook, I suppose, or reach out to him personally if you want. And yeah, wish him a happy birthday on Thursday. That's the 14th is his birthday. And Kavi, what's happening, bud? Good job. Be well. Have a good. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Likewise. So guys, next week, just FYI, next week I'm probably just gonna hang out, and so we can all talk about what everybody thought about the Comic Art Live on Saturday and Sunday. And again, I know it's going to fall on deaf ears, but anybody who wants to join me for that show, reach out to me, please, and let me know. That's it. So that's what probably we'll do next Sunday night. Okay, and I look forward to grabbing some time to look at this show on Rewind so I could watch it while I read all of your comments. Thank you all again. I apologize again that I couldn't be with you in the chat. But I feel really good about how it all went. I hope you guys did too. 200 images in just over 3 hours, 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, but I'll see what I think about how I did once I've watched it again on Rewind. It's Wednesday. What date are we today? 11, 12, 13. Marcus, he told me his birthday is the 14th, not 13th. Okay, we'll have to figure it out. I know the sound. Thank you, CJ. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And should be a fun OA weekend next week. Yeah. So anybody, if you're still here watching and you want to hang out with me and talk about it, talk about the Comic Art Live, please let me know. And so 5/14 is Wednesday. But aren't we? Let me see. 11, 12. 13. Oh, right. It's just my calculating wrong. I'm sorry. Exactly. Thank you, Marcus. I was just counting off. You know why? I was counting as if today was Monday. I thought today was Monday already. Sorry. I thought it was after midnight, and I just realized, oh, it's not midnight yet. So yeah. Hey, Tom. Thank you. Thank you again, Tom, for posting, for sharing my video on this one. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Canadian calendar, yeah, exactly. Thank you, appreciate it, Coffee. Hope to find you a few new pieces. Yeah. So, Tom, get that appearance on Comic Art Live over and done with already, so you can finally come on my channel. And see, if you had already done it, we could have hung out and talked about next weekend. So yeah. Anyways. So that's pretty much it, everybody. Thank you to all of you. And I just noticed Robert Berman was here tonight, saying that the work got better and better. It did indeed. Thank you, Robert, for being here. I appreciate it. And I noticed you also liked my post on Facebook. So thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, that's about it. I guess good night to all of you. I don't have a thumbnail for next week. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for being here and watching it. Hey, what's up, Carl? Carl, what's going on, Carl? So yeah, good night, everybody. Thank you again for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support as always. And yeah, please catch Nicky B on Friday. Don't forget to wish him a happy birthday if you can on Wednesday. And that's it. I'll catch you back here again. Those of you who I don't see on Friday at his show, catch you back here at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific next week. All right. Peace and go blue.